Chapter 25:14. Kid, don't think that you can be arrogant just because you have a heaven-tier treasure. The old man held a long spear in his hand, his killing intent awe-inspiring. Let's see if your heaven-tier treasure spear or my treasure sword is more powerful. Lin Xian instantly unlocked the ancient sword's 3 seals. An incomparably violent sword chi slashed out. 1 slash, 2 slashes, 3 slashes. The elder's arm went numb, and his long spear was sent flying. He vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Both of his arms were completely shattered, turning into a bloody mist. Damn it! How could his strength be so strong? The light on the elder's body soared into the sky, wrapping around his heaven-tier treasure spear as he frantically retreated. Wanna leave? Not so easy. Didn't you want to kill me? Come, I'll give you this chance. Lin Xian turned into a sword light and chased after him. Damn it! Seeing this scene, the injured elder's scalp went numb. The others from the 9 heavens holy ground charged over. Not only that, the people from the 5 elements palace and the 1,000 thunder holy ground also charged over. Countless attacks shattered the front. However, Lin Xian's speed was beyond their expectations. In an instant he dodged these attacks. The remaining energy shockwaves were all destroyed by the sword chi on his body. Moreover, these people attacked Lin Xian while resisting the thousands of sword lights in the sky. Could be said that they were in a mess. Lin Xian easily dodged the attacks and once again came in front of the injured elder. Old bastard, do you think you can kill me just because you have more people? Lin Xian's eyes exploded with a biting cold killing intent. Since the people from the 3 great sage holy lands wanted to kill him, then he would not be lenient. He wanted to see who would kill who today. Courting death. The elder was so angry that he vomited blood. You're just a kid, what qualifications do you have to say such words to me? Is that so? I'm a kid? You're an elder? But so what? Today I'll kill you, an elder. Sword chi erupted from Lin Xian's body. The surrounding people's faces changed, and even a few experts who rushed over were directly sent flying. A series of dragon roars and sword cries rang out, piercing through the 9 heavens. At this moment, the entire hall had turned into a world of sword Tao. Everyone was trembling. Even the 5 elements saint and the myriad thunder saint were shocked. The 2 of them looked at each other and quickly charged over. They wouldn't give the other party a chance to make a move. However, Lin Xian was even faster. The sword slashed down and landed on the heaven-tier treasured spear. The huge force caused the elder to be sent flying again. There were even more places on his body that had collapsed. Other than his head, which was still intact, the rest of his body was torn apart. The old man was scared out of his wits. Light blossomed from his head, and a mysterious rune flickered between his eyebrows. He was protecting his soul because he knew that Lin Xian had a terrifying soul attack. He didn't want his soul to be destroyed in an instant. If that happened, he would really be dead for sure. Shwa. Lin Xian disappeared and dodged the attacks of the myriad thunder saint sun and the 5 elements saint sun. In the next moment he arrived before the old man once more. At this moment the old man's body was glowing and he had recovered. His face was extremely ugly. At this moment he had swallowed countless treasures and even swallowed 2 elixirs that could increase his combat strength. Bus. He held the long spear and a bloody light burst out from his eyes. Damn brat, go to hell. The long spear danced and a terrifying and violent power accompanied by a murderous aura pierced out. In an instant it enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian didn't care. Countless sword lights surrounded his body, forming a green dragon that coiled around him. Thousands of sword chi destroyed all the power around him. Swallowing elixirs? That's your trump card? You're such an elder? You want to use elixirs to increase your strength against a young junior like me? What a joke. Shameless. Damn it. I'll kill you. The old man was furious. How dare Suemo look down on him? What right did Suemo have to look down on him? He was a peerless almighty. An elder of the sacred land, an expert who dominated a region. When had he ever been looked down on by a young man? He roared crazily and completely shattered the void in front of him. However, he couldn't hurt Suemo at all. What peerless almighty? What elder? In my eyes, you're just a piece of trash who climbed to your current position in 1,000 years. If I want to kill you, it'll be as easy as killing a dog. At the end of his sentence, the great dragon sword soul in Lin Xian's body exploded again. A dragon's roar resounded in all directions. Boom. The ancient dragon abyss sword released an unparalleled power. The current Lin Xian could completely withstand the power of the 3 seals. Therefore, the ancient dragon abyss sword was unstoppable. Sky shattering. Battle song. Chaotic pattern. God Punisher. The 4 killer moves exploded, completely destroying the void below. Violent sword intent swept through the 9 heavens. The old man didn't have time to dodge or resist. His body exploded and turned into blood. Even his soul was directly destroyed by the piercingly cold sword light. Only a purple spear was left in the sky. Ruffian dragon. Lin Xin waved his hand and sent the purple spear flying. The dark red dragon swung its tail and caught it. Seeing this scene, the people of the 9 heavens sacred ground screamed crazily. "Oh, damn it. Give us back our treasures. You actually dared to kill our elder. I won't let you go." They were all crazy. Suemo had killed their elder. That was a peerless almighty. Moreover, he was a peerless almighty who used a heaven-grade treasure. They couldn't believe it. At this moment, the young disciples were all frightened and kept retreating. What a joke. How could they fight against such a terrifying person? All the disciples retreated and the elders went forward. Kill him for me. The elders of the 9 heavens sacred ground also understood this, so they hurriedly let the young disciples use the array to attack from afar. As for the elders, they would fight in close combat. The 5 elements palace and the 1,000 thunder sacred ground used the same method. Among them, the 5 elements saint and the 1,000 thunder saint led the charge. They knew that they couldn't wait any longer. They had to get rid of Suemo, otherwise, they wouldn't even be able to sleep well in the future. Boom, boom, boom. The 5 elements saint and the 1,000 thunder saint joined forces and attacked Lin Xian together. Lin Xian's sword light flashed and shattered the void. He stopped and stared at the 2 saints coldly. Chapter 25:15. The 10,000 Thunder Saint had been randomly teleported away before he even started attacking. This scene was indeed beyond his expectations. Therefore he had to stop. Lin Xian looked at him and sneered disdainfully. Why, without the 10,000 Thunder Saint, you don't dare to attack? What a piece of trash. Coward. Get lost, you ant. You're not worthy of my attack. What? He actually called the 5 elements saint a piece of trash? Coward? In the distance, those people did not leave and were watching from afar. When they heard that, their scalps went numb and their hearts beat wildly. Who dared to call the 5 elements saint a coward? A piece of trash? No one in the younger generation was qualified to say that. However, at this moment the other party said it without hesitation. The 5 elements saint's face was terrifyingly dark. You're courting death. He was really mad. Indeed, without the 10,000 Thunder Saint, he did not have full confidence. However, it was just a lack of confidence. This did not mean that he was afraid of the other party, nor did it mean that he was afraid of the other party. The other party dared to call him an ant? He dared to call him a piece of trash? He could not stand it. Kid, do you really think I can't beat you? The 5 elements saint's voice was cold. I just want to find a safe way. Since you don't know what's good for you, I'll kill you alone. The 5 elements saint was really angry. He said coldly, everyone listen up. Step back and don't attack. I want to kill him alone. Saint. When the people of the 5 elements palace heard that, they were extremely anxious. The 5 elements saint snorted. What? Didn't you hear what I said? Or are you saying that even you don't believe me? Do you think I'm a piece of trash? When those words came out, the people of the 5 elements palace did not dare to speak. What a joke, the 5 elements saint was a powerful existence. At such a young age, he had defeated all the heroes and obtained the position of saint. How could such a person be a piece of trash? How could he be an ant? Forget it, let the saint do it himself. Yes, with the saint's strength, it was definitely not something that this kid could imagine. Kid, you're dead. Our saint has been suppressing his strength. Today he will show it all. You will definitely die. What? The 5 elements saint suppressed his strength? When the people in the distance heard that, they were shocked. Lin Xian sneered. Suppressing his strength? Don't flatter yourself. Show me what you've got. Today I'll let you know what it means to be invincible. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous. Every word he said transformed into countless sword waves that blasted out in all directions. For a time, no one could get close to him. Kid, you don't have to provoke me. I'll show you. I will let you see the true 5 elements world. The 5 elements saint's expression was cold as he quickly formed 5 seals. Metal, wood, water, fire, and earth revolved around him. The 5 element seal was undone. A cold voice sounded. The 5 elements saint's power exploded again, reaching the peak. A terrifying power of the 5th form swept across the surroundings. Everyone took a few steps back. So powerful. The 5 elements saint's power had indeed skyrocketed. Heavens, could it be that he really suppressed his strength? What was he trying to do? Cries of surprise could be heard. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. Indeed, his opponent's strength had increased. But so what? Today he had to kill him. I was planning to use my 5 phases world to deal with Leaf Doudenier and Sage Sun Alcade. Who could have guessed that I would use it on you instead? However, you can die in peace now. Sure enough, metal, wood, water, fire, and earth elemental light appeared around the 5 elements saint. They connected with each other and formed a strange world. Although it was called a world, it seemed to be the other party's domain. However, it was not an ordinary domain. It was an extremely strange 5 elements array that was formed by combining it with the 5 element saint's domain. Its power was much stronger than a simple domain. The 5 elements saint snorted coldly. With a wave of his arm, a golden light flashed and turned into countless golden spears that flew forward. Each spear was flowing with a biting cold murderous aura. Even a peerless almighty would not dare to touch it lightly. How terrifying. Is this the 5 elements world? It is indeed powerful. That's right, this attack is much stronger than before. I wonder if that brat will be able to withstand it. Discussions broke out one after another. The people from the 5 elements holy land were paying close attention. The people from the 9 heavens holy land did not go forward. It was not that they did not want to go forward, but the 5 elements saints domain made it impossible for them to go forward. The 5 elements saints 5 elements world enveloped all the space around Lin Xian. If they went forward they would probably be attacked. Therefore they retreated to the side to watch. Facing the thousands of golden spears, Lin Xian waved his sword and destroyed all the spears with the power of 1,000 soldiers. Clang, 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 clang. Everyone's blood boiled. Who do you think you are? How dare you call yourself the 5 elements world? It is just a space formed by a domain and an array. Let me break it for you. Lin Xian sneered. Indeed, if one was not a sage, one would not dare to call their domain a world. This 5 elements saint was so arrogant that he dared to call his domain a 5 elements world? You are courting death. The 5 elements saint roared. How dare his opponent look down on him? In the next moment, the power of the 5 elements in the 5 elements world formed a 5-shaped spear in his hand. Boom. With a thrust of the spear, heaven and earth collapsed. The terrifying long spear shattered the sword light that filled the sky. It then charged towards Lin Xian in a ferocious manner. Lin Xian used the demigods and quickly dodged. At the same time he waved the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand again. Clang. A crisp sound was heard. The 5 element spear was cut in half, and the terrifying power of the 5 elements disappeared. What? It was cut in half. The surrounding people exclaimed. The people from the 5 elements palace were even more shocked. They didn't dare to believe that such a terrifying weapon had a power that was close to that of a priceless treasure. However, it was cut in half by his opponent's sword. This was too unbelievable. Is this your 5 elements world? It is so pitifully weak. Lin Xian sneered. The chaotic heaven destroyer sword and the 5 elements sword appeared and disappeared mysteriously. The 5 elements world trembled as if it was about to collapse. It was too powerful. Everyone trembled. At this moment, the combat power that Lin Xian displayed was really terrifying. It filled all of them with despair. The 5 elements saint kept retreating, spitting out large mouthfuls of blood. Several cracks appeared on his body. Finally he stopped and roared at the sky. The power of the 5 elements in his body erupted. Kid, you forced me to do this. He roared like a madman. Boom, boom, boom. In his 5 elements world the sky was filled with dazzling lights. 5 figures appeared in the void. These 5 figures were overflowing with light and color. Their faces were exactly the same as the 5 elements saint. Clones. Seeing this scene, many people exclaimed in surprise. Indeed, they had seen such a remarkable power before. However, it was usually divided into 2 or at most 3. Chapter 25:16. Damn brat, you've completely infuriated me. Today I'll let you know my final trump card. A cold voice sounded from all directions. The 5 clones spoke at the same time. A terrifying murderous intent pierced through the clouds. Lin Xian frowned. 5 clones? It was indeed beyond his expectations. But so what? The other party couldn't even defeat him. Did he think he could overturn the situation with a few clones? What a joke. You're no match for me and neither are your clones. Even if you have 50 clones I can still destroy them, let alone 5. Lin Xian's voice was sonorous, shaking the 9 heavens. In the next moment, a dragon's roar and a sword's cry sounded in his body. Countless violent sword chi slashed forward like a mountain. Raging waves. The cold voice reverberated in the air. The 5 clones in the sky shouted together, and their palms formed the same seal. Then they suddenly opened their mouths. The seawater in the sky surged and a blue light shrouded the entire sky. It was so bright that people couldn't open their eyes. In an instant, the boundless sea swept forward and completely surrounded the sword chi. Boom, boom, boom. The void collapsed in an instant, and the surrounding people's expressions changed drastically. The weaker ones were directly sent flying backward while vomiting blood. The stronger ones also felt their chests tighten, as if thousands of mountains were pressing down on their heads. Oh no, this is not ordinary seawater. This is 1,000-layer heavy water. A drop of seawater was as heavy as Mount Tai. What? 1,000-layer heavy water? Was it the legendary water? Damn it, the 5-element saint is so terrifying. He has mastered 1,000-layer heavy water. Everyone was frightened and retreated crazily. Even the dark red divine dragon retreated to the side. The water was too terrifying. When it appeared, it was like 1,000 mountains crying out in unison. As expected, the seawater in the sky bent countless sword chi. Many of the sword chi were even broken in the middle. Did you see that, brat? With my trump card, you're no match for me at all. The 5 clones on the opposite side sneered, and a terrifying murderous aura erupted from their eyes. Indeed, Lin Xian also suffered the same attack. He felt that the blood chi in his body was about to solidify, and his body was about to be crushed into a bloody mist. 1,000-layer heavy water? As expected, he had some trump cards. However, it was still not enough. With a cold snort, the great dragon sword spirit erupted once more. A powerful force swept out in all directions. The 1,001 heavy water around him was completely wiped out by the sword light. Wuxia Xian stepped into the air, and with each step, a dragon image appeared beneath his feet. Terrifying roars rang out, blasting apart the seawater in the sky. Sky-shattering. A beam of sword light flew out and exploded in the sky, splitting into pieces. Heaven and earth shattered. The 1,001 heavy water was mercilessly torn apart, and a huge black hole appeared. All the seawater in the sky flowed into the black hole. You want to devour my 1,001 heavy water? What a joke. In the distance, the 5-element saints sneered. The 5 figures formed hand seals again and the black hole collapsed. The 1,000-pound heavy water flowed out once more. They turned into dozens of water dragons and roared in the sky, wanting to completely suppress Lin Xian. As expected of the 1,001 heavy water, it was indeed terrifying. If even the black hole could not swallow them, then there was probably nothing that could withstand their weight. All the experts in the surroundings exclaimed. The people from the 9 heavens sacred ground and 10,000 thunder sacred ground revealed a cruel smile. The people from the 5 elements palace looked even more ferocious. You want to compete with our saint? You're still far from it. You can't devour them? Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. He did not expect Sky Shattering to be unable to devour these things. However, so what? If he could not devour them, then he would completely destroy them. His great dragon sword spirit was not to be trifled with. Boom. Lin Xian waved his long sword, and the aura of the dragon sword gushed out. Suddenly, the 1,001 heavy water that was close to him let out a sizzling sound, then turned into water vapor and drifted into the sky. More and more of the 1,001 heavy water was destroyed, turning into water vapor that shrouded the surroundings. In the end, the dozens of water dragons were completely destroyed and did not exist anymore. You want to hurt me with a mere 1,001 heavy water? What a joke. What other tricks do you have? Show me or you won't have a chance. Lin Xian held his sword and strode forward. What? He actually destroyed the 1,001 heavy water? Moreover, he did it so easily? Heavens, who the hell is this kid? Why is his sword light so sharp? He can actually destroy the 1,001 heavy water? Everyone was stunned. The 1,001 heavy water could not be destroyed at all. Even the black hole could not devour it. However, Lin Xian destroyed all the water with just a few swings of his sword. If they had not seen it with their own eyes, they would not have dared to believe it. Damn it. The 5 saint's face turned ugly. He did not expect Lin Xian to be able to destroy his 1,001 heavy water so easily. It was really hard for him to believe. However, he soon became ferocious. His trump card was not just the 1,001 heavy water. Blazing red lotus. North Pole Earth. The 5 clones formed seals again, and the attributes on their bodies changed into the fire and earth attributes. The power of fire and earth surged out, and between heaven and earth, flames burned, forming countless lotus flowers that danced in the fire. The mountains crushed the rift as they charged toward Qin Nan once again. They completely enveloped Lin Xian. Lin Xian waved the dragon sword realm and transformed into a true dragon. The dragon opened its mouth and spat out seawater. The dragon swayed its tail and knocked away the surrounding mountains. Buzz! Thousands of sword chi burst out from the dragon's body and slashed in all directions. The sky collapsed and the earth cracked. It was as if the sun was about to be destroyed. The power of fire and earth were destroyed again. The sky was filled with terrifying sword light. The frenzy of energy terrified everyone. They had completely retreated from the main hall and hid in the surrounding passageways. There was nothing they could do. The energy was too terrifying. Let me show you what the true power of the 5 elements is. Lin Xian's eyes burst out with a piercing cold light. He floated in the void like a god fiend. Whoosh! He waved his sword and simulated everything in his body. Around him, the 5 elements of metal, wood, water, fire, and earth appeared. Then, the 5 elements began to evolve under the effect of the great dragon sword soul. Boom! Black flames danced and turned into black suns one after another, filling the sky palace. There were thousands of them densely packed together. Each of them contained terrifying power that would make the eyelids of peerless almighties twitch. Now that thousands of them appeared together, probably nothing could resist. 10,000 suns burning the sky. Lin Xian waved his sword, and thousands of black suns smashed forward like meteors. Boom! 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 The 5 elements saint felt as if he was struck by lightning. His 5 elements world shook and countless cracks began to appear. The 5 clones also vomited large mouthfuls of blood. Damn it, be destroyed for me. The 5 elements saint roared crazily and attacked with the 1001 heavy water again to resist. But at this moment Lin Xian's second attack came. The power of metal flashed quickly and formed many golden swords in the sky. 108,000 golden swords filled with killing aura filled the sky. Chapter 25:17. Metal slaying shaking the heavens. 108,000 swords descended together with Lin Xian's wave. The 5 elements saint spat out blood and flew backward again. More cracks appeared on his 5 elements world. The 108,000 swords pierced through his 5 elements world, and the 5 elements power inside was quickly destroyed. The 5 clones were also covered in cracks. 2 of the clones exploded with a loud bang. The 5 elements saint was severely injured, and his face was filled with madness. 10,000 wood descends. The 5 elements saint roared crazily, and the power of wood flashed. Bang! Countless forests appeared around Lin Xian, covering the entire sky. Those trees began to absorb Lin Xian's power, trying to suck him dry. Let me show you what the true power of wood is. Lin Xian's sword flashed and he destroyed all the primeval forests. He pointed his sword at the sky. Heavenly tree. Heaven and earth trembled and the void above cracked open. A green tree fell from the sky. This green tree was too terrifying. It was surrounded by green light and covered with mysterious patterns. It was like a heavenly tree and it completely suppressed the 5 elements saint. The 5 elements saint spat out blood, and his 5 elements world shattered again. The surrounding people were stunned. What is this? How can this kid have such a terrifying superpower? They were stunned because they had never seen the great dragon sword soul's imitation superpower. They were horrified. The 5 elements saint could not believe it. He looked at the heavenly tree that fell from the sky, and his face was filled with shock. Impossible. How can his 5 elements power possibly be more powerful than mine? I don't believe it. Half of his body was smashed by the heavenly tree. Not only that, the heavenly tree took root in his 5 elements world, and it quickly absorbed his power, causing his 5 elements world to shatter. The 5 clones were destroyed at the same time. Not good, Saint. The people from the 5 elements palace could not hold it in anymore. Although the 5 elements saint had said that he wanted to fight one-on-one, the situation was very dangerous now. If they fought one-on-one, their saint would be killed. They could not bear the consequences. Therefore the people from the 5 elements palace rushed forward like crazy. Damn brat, go to hell. These people unleashed terrifying attacks towards Lin Xian. At the same time they attacked the heavenly tree. Whoosh! Lin Xian shifted his position and dodged in an instant. However, the heaven-reaching divine wood was able to withstand the attacks that filled the sky, and began to emit rumbling sounds. It was covered with countless cracks, but for a moment, it did not shatter. That was because if one were to look carefully, one would be able to discover that those cyan streams of light were actually tiny sword auras. At that moment, those sword auras were extremely sharp. Damn it! These people went crazy and attacked again. Finally, the heavenly reaching divine wood was shattered. The sky-reaching divine tree collapsed, shattering the void. The entire ancient tomb seemed to be on the verge of shattering. The Holy Sun. These people exclaimed and rushed forward, wanting to rescue their Holy Sun. Without the suppression of the sky-piercing sacred tree, the five-element saint retreated quickly. But in the next moment he screamed. This was because he discovered that Lin Xian was once again charging towards him. Damn brat, how dare you! The people of the five-element palace were furious. Lin Xian actually dared to kill their Holy Sun. How despicable! Lin Xian sneered. What? You think you can kill me? Can't I kill you? His body emitted a piercing light as he unleashed his 4 killer moves, shattering the void. The five-element sword formed a five-element formation around him. Boom, 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 boom. The 4 killer moves sent many people of the five-element palace flying. The five-element sword formation was surrounded by sword auras and murderous intent. Many people were blocked. The five-element saint was also affected and kept retreating. Lin Xian could not escape. Lin Xian held his sword and charged forward. The elder of the five-element palace roared. You're courting death. They unleashed the power of the five elements. Mountains crisscrossed in the sky. Flames and seawater filled the sky, making splashing sounds. The entire sky was completely shattered, but all of this was split apart by the sword. Boom. Lin Xian stretched out his palm, and the sun and moon in his hand spun, sending an elder of the five-element palace flying. Lin Xian threw out another punch. The black dragon roared and sent another elder flying. There were not many experts around the five-element saint. The elders of the five-element palace screamed crazily. Friends of the nine heavens sacred ground and the myriad thunder sacred ground, attack together and kill this kid. Hearing the cry for help, the people of the nine heavens sacred ground roared. The people of the myriad thunder sacred ground also rushed out. Although they could not use the immortal palace's trump card, the other party also did not have the sage's hand bone. With so many of them they could definitely kill the other party. What? You want to bully me with numbers? Have a taste of my array. The dark red dragon also roared. At this moment he did not hold back. He opened his mouth and spat out killing array after killing array. In an instant an intense battle broke out. It was extremely terrifying. The surrounding cultivators retreated crazily. They did not dare to stay any longer and could only watch from afar with their souls. The experts of the Great Sage Kingdom were moving with earth-shattering movements. They wanted to destroy the entire ancient tomb. Lin Xian and the Crimson Mystical Dragon felt a strong impact. Damn it, there were too many of them. The dark red dragon roared angrily. A crazy light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. With a wave of his hand, he tore a corner of the sage's hand bone. Boom. A terrifying aura spread out. Boom. The immortal palace was blasted away, the five elements mountain was overturned, and the sea of lightning was torn apart. The terrifying aura of a sage swept out in all directions. The cultivators of the Great Sage Kingdom were sent flying while vomiting blood. There were 2 elders of the sacred ground who did not dodge. They were instantly killed by the aura. Their bodies and souls were destroyed and they no longer existed. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon were also affected. The 2 of them were very fast and kept retreating. They did not suffer too much damage. But the aura in their bodies was tumbling. Damn it, this kid is crazy. The people in the passage were terrified. The experts of the Great Sage Kingdom were roaring crazily. This was the result of both sides suffering. The other party dared to do such a thing. Could it be that he did not want to live anymore? They could not understand. Among them, the elders of the nine heavens sacred ground roared. Quickly activate the immortal light. Use your trump card. Suppress the sage's hand bone. Otherwise we won't be able to escape. They were really afraid. If the other party went crazy and wanted to fight to the death, no one would be able to survive. In the distance, the immortal palace was fixed in the void, emitting thousands of rays of light. The mysterious door slowly opened. 3 rays of immortal light slashed out. It was like a sword from the gods, making people tremble. Once the immortal light appeared, even a peerless almighty would be killed in an instant. They collided with the sage's hand bone, and the result was directly shattered. What? It was so terrifying. The experts of the nine heavens sacred ground felt their scalps go numb. Just a strand of aura was enough to shatter their trump card. This was simply too shocking. The people of the 5 elements palace and the 1,000 thunder sacred ground did not dare to be careless. They also activated their trump cards. Among them, the 5 elements mountain flew over again. This time, 5 runes appeared on it, emitting supreme power. Chapter 25:18. Sure enough, in an instant, everyone in the hall seemed to be frozen. The people from the 9 heavens sacred ground and the myriad thunder sacred ground cried out in horror. Fellow cultivator, help us break the seal. The 5 elements palace elder waved his staff and broke the seal on these people. These people frantically retreated. The people in the passageway were filled with terror. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon's pupils shrank. They felt that their bodies were imprisoned by the void and they could not move at all. They could only watch as the terrifying attack came toward them. Look, those two are frozen. The martial artists in the passage were shocked when they saw this. That was for sure. Once the 5-element seal was activated, it would seal the heavens and earth. Nothing could escape. Didn't they see that the other 2 talents from the great sage land were also sealed? If the 5 elements palace had not unsealed them, they probably would not have been able to escape. What? It's so terrifying. Those people trembled. Indeed, they felt a sealing power revolving around them. Furthermore, this was because they were very far away from the sealing power. One could only imagine what kind of suppression Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon had suffered. Ha 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 ha. When the elders of the 5 elements palace saw this scene, they all laughed loudly. See? This is the power of the 5 elements palace's Dharma treasure. The 5 elements saint also heaved a sigh of relief. His eyes were filled with killing intent. Previously, the other party had caused him to suffer such heavy injuries. He swore that he would cut the other party into pieces. He would not let the other party die so easily. He would torture the other party well. The people from the 9 heavens sacred ground and the myriad thunder sacred ground also surrounded them. They all laughed maliciously. Among them, the people from the 9 heavens sacred ground looked even more ferocious. Fellow cultivator, can you let us deal with this kid? They were too angry because the other party might have killed their saint. If they did not capture the other party, they would not be able to explain it to their sacred ground. First, cripple their cultivation and break their limbs. They will not be able to escape. The people from the myriad thunder sacred ground said viciously. Yes, I want to see his body and soul destroyed with my own eyes. The 5 elements saints' killing intent soared. Murderous auras and malicious voices echoed between the heavens and earth. The people in the passage were shocked when they heard this. Heavens, it's over. These 2 are probably not going to survive. That was for sure. Although he was strong, he was still no match for the 3 great sage. What a pity. Such a genius could very well become a great emperor in the future. So what? A genius who couldn't grow up was nothing. Sighs could be heard one after another. These people were all sighing for Lin Xian. However, the people from the 3 great sage lands were laughing coldly. The elders of the 9 heavens holy ground and 5 elements palace could no longer hold themselves back and rushed forward. The 2 of them instantly arrived near Lin Xian and Crimson Shinong, wanting to destroy their cultivation bases. Then they cut off their limbs. Upon seeing this, Lin Xian snorted coldly. Looking at the elder of the 9 heavens holy ground, a sharp light flashed in his eyes. Golden runes shone in the sky. Although he couldn't move at the moment, his eye technique wasn't affected. As expected, the elder of the 9 heavens holy ground screamed in pain as his body twisted. He retreated like a madman. A piece of the black necklace on his neck broke into pieces. This was the artifact that protected his soul. Under the effect of soul ignition, it broke into pieces. The elder of the 9 heavens holy ground screamed in agony. His soul was severely injured and he screamed in agony. This scene caused everyone to be stupefied. They didn't expect that even though the other party was immobilized, he could still injure an almighty with just a look. Such a move was heaven-defying. Damn it. This kid's soul power is still there. Hurry up and defend. The people of the 9 heavens holy ground roared in anger. They took out all the soul defense artifacts they could use to protect their souls. The people of 5 elements palace and 9 heavens holy ground did the same. Whoosh. Among them, the elder of 5 elements palace had already arrived in front of the Crimson Shinong. He revealed a sinister smile. This was because the Crimson Shinong didn't have the same eye technique as Lin Xian. The Crimson Shinong indeed didn't have any eye technique. He opened his mouth and spat out a ball of dragon flame. This dragon flame contained a trace of dragon blood. It directly enveloped half of the 5 elements palace elder's body. The elder screamed in pain as half of his body melted. He flew back while screaming in pain. Damn it. What kind of move is this? It's a flame. He actually has such a strange flame. Once he killed this snake, he would definitely take out his inner core. Angry roars could be heard. The people of 5 elements palace stared at the Crimson Shinong. The people of Nine Heavens' holy ground stared at Lin Xian. Kill. They charged forward once again. They had immobilized the other party and were injured. This made them feel ashamed. This could be said to be a great humiliation. They had to kill the other party alone. The Five Elements Saint snorted. This time he was going to do it himself. Although he was severely injured, the Five Elements Palace had many treasures to help him suppress his injuries. His damaged body had also recovered. However, his face was still pale. He stared at Lin Xian. Brat, I'll pay you back 10,000 times, no, 100,000 times for the injuries you suffered. He once again formed a Five Elements world and circled behind Lin Xian before beginning his attack. He was afraid of Lin Xian's eyes. Lin Xian laughed when he saw this. Five Elements Saint, I have to say you're really a piece of trash. I've been immobilized but you don't dare to attack me directly? Ah! Merciless laughter rang out, and the people of Five Elements Palace cried out. The Five Elements Saint was so angry that he vomited blood. The people around him were terrified. Yes, Lin Xian was already in such a state. Other than his eye technique, there was nothing else he could do. Such a person was no different from a lamb waiting to be slaughtered. However, the Five Elements Saint didn't even dare to attack him directly. He only sneaked behind Lin Xian. It had to be said that it was indeed surprising. It seemed that the Five Elements Saint was completely afraid of Lin Xian. The people of Five Elements Palace roared. So what? As long as we kill you, our saint is still invincible. Invincible? How could a piece of trash like him be called invincible? Lin Xian snorted coldly. No matter what, you're going to die today. The Five Elements Saint's cold voice came from behind. A terrifying killing intent mixed with the Five Elements realm pressed down. This time the Five Elements Saint didn't hold back. Bus. Lin Xian couldn't move and he didn't use his eye technique. Countless sword chi burst out from his body, as if it had turned into a rain of swords. Boom, 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 boom. The sky full of sword chi blasted on the Five Elements realm, making earth-shattering collisions. Heaven and earth trembled again and countless cracks appeared. What? He can still attack. Chapter 25:19. The people from the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground and Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground were shocked. The people from the Five Elements Palace were even more shocked. That's not right. The Great Five Elements Seal can seal not only the body but also one's strength. How did he manage to attack? These people have gone crazy. The Five Elements Saint was even more shocked. He did not expect his opponent to be able to release sword chi. No matter what, his opponent could not escape now. The Five Elements Sword Saint frantically activated his Five Elements force. On the other side, the people from the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground and Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground charged at Lin Fan again. They unleashed their most powerful super skills, wanting to cripple Lin Xian together. As long as they crippled this kid, he would not be able to cause any more trouble. At that time he would be at their mercy. Kid, let's see how you'll die this time. The elders from the Five Elements Palace sneered. The people from the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground looked even more ferocious. I'll use your blood as a sacrifice to our saint. Kid, you're too arrogant. Do you really think you're invincible? There are plenty of people who can kill you. The people from the Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground said coldly. The great sage emitted a dazzling light that enveloped Lin Xian. It's over. That kid is dead. When the crowd saw this scene they sighed. The dark red divine dragon also roared angrily. He let out a series of dragon roars as his body tried to break free. However, it could not do so for the time being. Lin Xian felt a sense of danger and his eyes shone with a cold light. What? You want to kill me with just the Great Five Element Seal? You're still far from it. Lin Fan's aura exploded as the great dragon sword soul in his body circulated. Rays of sword chi appeared on his body. A dragon-shaped sword shadow appeared on his body and kept circling. The surrounding sword chi became more and more piercing as if it was going to pierce through the sky. Damn it. Don't give him a chance to resist. The Five Elements Saint roared. He felt that something was wrong with his opponent. He had experienced his opponent's sword chi many times. The sharpness of his opponent's sword chi made him feel despair. Therefore he would not give his opponent a chance. Ka. However, they had underestimated Lin Xian and the great dragon sword spirit. The power unleashed by the #1 offensive saint art in the world was definitely beyond the imagination of these people. The roar of a dragon and the cry of a sword rang out. Between heaven and earth, the dragon sword shadow slashed in all directions. Countless cracks appeared in the void, with Lin Xian as the center, spreading in all directions. Boom. The space he was in completely collapsed. and black holes appeared one after another. Lin Xian, on the other hand, let out a long howl. His figure flashed and he instantly escaped from the black hole. What? He had escaped. How could this be? Damn it, hurry up and kill him. Angry shouts rang out one after another. The people of the three great sage lands were all stunned. The warriors in the surrounding passageways were even more shocked. Roar. The dark red divine dragon also let out a dragon roar. Its huge body shook the void as it escaped from inside. Damn it, you actually dare to trap me, I'll cook you all and eat you later. At this moment, the dark red divine dragon's body expanded, turning into a true peerless demon king. The dragon blood in his body surged. With a swing of his dragon tail, it directly shattered the void. It was like 100,000 mountains pressing down. The people of the three great sage lands vomited blood. Kill. Lin Xian also let out a roar. The great dragon sword spirit continued to rise, and the ancient dragon abyss sword was swung out. Spurt. An elder of the myriad thunder sacred ground was sent flying. The thunder cane in his hand was split into 3 parts. His body was also split into 3 parts, floating in the sky. A miserable voice rang out. That elder was screaming non-stop. Lin Xian, on the other hand, swept out in all directions. Not good. Damn it. Counterattack. The 5 elements Saint, Myriad Thunder Sacred Ground, and 9 Heaven Sacred Ground roared crazily. They realized that the other party's combat strength had increased again. Damn it, could it be that the other party did not use his full strength before? How could it be? Is he trying to run? Seeing the 5 elements Saint continuously retreating, Lin Xian sneered. The azure dragon hand stretched out, turning into a coiling dragon picture, and enveloped the other party. Scram. The 5 elements Saint roared and struck out his 5 elements world to fight against the coiling dragon picture. The 2 forces collided in the sky, creating a tsunami-like energy wave. The coiling dragon picture was blocked, and the 5 elements Saint was also forced back. Whoosh. A dragon shadow appeared under Lin Xian's feet. He was extremely fast, and in an instant he was near the 5 elements Saint. You felt good when you sneak attacked me, right? Now have a taste of my attack. The 4th seal on his ancient dragon abyss sword was undone, and an unbelievable sword chi burst out. No. The 5 elements Saint screamed and instantly summoned his 5 clones to resist. However, this sword was truly too terrifying. His 5 clones were destroyed in an instant. His main body was also sent flying, vomiting blood. The 5 elements world was split into 2 by the sword. Another sword slashed out and everyone felt their scalps go numb. They were scared out of their wits by this sword chi. The 5 elements Saint screamed again and again. This time one of his arms had been chopped off. He wanted to escape, but at this moment, a golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes. A pair of cold golden eyes appeared in the sky. The 5 elements Saint screamed, and his soul seemed to be ignited. He rolled in the sky and his speed of escape slowed down. Sky-piercing sword. The dragon sword shadow appeared on Lin Xian's body, enveloping him. He held the ancient dragon abyss sword in his hand, and the 4 seals were undone. His entire body turned into a sharp sword light and flew out. Whoosh, poof. All the light between heaven and earth dimmed, and there was only a sword light in the sky. At this moment, everyone stopped attacking. They turned their heads and stared blankly at the scene. With a splashing sound, blood splattered. No. The people from the 5 elements palace screamed, and the people from the 9 heavens sacred ground and the myriad thunder sacred ground gasped. This was because the 5 elements Saint's head had been chopped off, and his corpse fell to the ground. However, the 5 elements Saint was not dead. His head screamed and turned into a stream of light, trying to break through the void and escape. How could he escape? Lin Xian stretched out his hand and the sun, moon and stars revolved around him, sealing the entire space. In the next moment he grabbed the 5 elements Saint's head and brought it to his side. Then he activated soul ignition and completely burned his soul into ashes. Whoosh. Lin Xian held the 5 elements Saint's head with one hand and the ancient sword in the other, sweeping it in all directions. Who else? If you want to die, come here. Stunned. Everyone was stunned. The people from the great sage land were stunned in the air, and the people in the passageway were all trembling. Fear, infinite fear, spread throughout their bodies. That was the 5 elements Saint, the top genius of the younger generation. The future master of the 5 elements sacred ground had been killed here. Was this kid still human? Demon King, he was definitely a demon king. In the future they must not provoke him. Those people swallowed their saliva. The people from the great sage land regained their senses and they roared crazily. Chapter 25:20. That their holy son had been killed in front of everyone. His head was even in the other party's hand. This made them want to die. How were they going to explain it to the sacred ground when they returned? Kill him. You must kill him. The people of the Five Elements Palace roared crazily. At this moment they had lost their minds. Everyone's eyes were red, and their bodies were surrounded by a murderous aura as if they had turned into demons. The people of the Nine Heavens sacred ground were also roaring. They didn't expect that apart from their holy son, even the Five Elements' holy son had been killed. This was definitely an earth-shattering earthquake. Although the people of the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground were frightened, they were relieved. Fortunately, their holy son had been randomly teleported away by the black quicksand. Otherwise he would have been dead by now. Therefore, at this moment, the elders of the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground were secretly delighted. But soon, these people of the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground were stunned and even frightened. Their faces were as black as the bottom of a pot. That was because in a passage next to them, a figure streaked across the void like a bolt of thunder and quickly arrived at the main hall. The 10,000 Thunder Holy Son. This figure was the 10,000 Thunder Holy Son. Previously he had been randomly teleported away by the black quicksand, but he had finally returned. As soon as he appeared, the 10,000 Thunder Holy Son released a sea of lightning that filled the entire sky. He roared coldly, "Damn brat, come and die." He was really mad. Before he could make a move, he had been teleported away. Moreover, the teleportation distance was very far. He had spent a lot of effort to rush back here. Therefore he swore that he would join hands with the Five Elements' Holy Son. He would torture him to death. But soon he was stunned. Because he realized that no one responded. The entire main hall was silent. Everyone looked at him with a strange expression. The elders of the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground were even more furious. The people in the passage also swallowed their saliva. The 10,000 Thunder Holy Son had come at this time. Wasn't he walking into a trap and dying in vain? Sure enough, the elders of the 10,000 Thunder sacred ground roared crazily. "Holy Son, leave. Leave this place quickly." They were about to go crazy. Previously, they had been secretly delighted that their holy son was not here and could avoid a calamity. However, they did not expect that just as they finished speaking, their saint would charge over from afar. They had to quickly remind the chosen to leave. Otherwise, who knew what crazy things this kid would do? Leave quickly? What did he mean? The 10,000 Thunder Saint's son was stunned. He frowned. Why did these elders want him to escape? What did she mean by that? She didn't look up to him? He snorted coldly and turned to look at Lin Xian. His eyes were filled with murderous intent as he thought, "Damn brat, I will definitely..." Before he could finish, he was stunned. He realized that Lin Xian was holding a head in his left hand. That head belonged to the Five Elements Saint. Damn it, what happened? The 10,000 Thunder Saint shuddered, and his heart almost jumped out of his chest. The Five Elements Saint's head was held in the other party's hand, and there was no sign of life. What was going on? Could it be that the Five Elements Saint was killed? Holy Son, leave now. Seeing the 10,000 Thunder Sage in a daze, the 10,000 Thunder Sage's elders roared again. At the same time they rushed up crazily to protect the 10,000 Thunder Sage. The Five Elements Saint had been killed by this kid. Holy Son, leave now. The elders roared again. What? He was really killed? The 10,000 Thunder Sage's pupils shrank, and his mind went blank. How could this be? The Five Elements Saint was a genius like him. How could anyone kill him? Even if other saints wanted to kill them, it would be very difficult. After all, they were all of the same level and had many trump cards. Unless it was an invincible challenger or a peak 8-star. A late-stage 8-star powerhouse could defeat a saint, but it was impossible to kill him. Therefore the 10,000 Thunder Sage did not believe it at all. Although Jiuxiao Seiko was killed before, they did not think that it was Lin Xian who did it. They knew how difficult it was to kill a saint. They said that Lin Xian was the murderer to find an excuse to kill him. But now the Five Elements Saint was killed by him. This made him suspect that the Ninth Firmament Saint might have been killed by the other party as well. Thinking of this, a trace of horror appeared in the 10,000 Thunder Sage's eyes. He did not dare to stay any longer and turned to escape. Brat, you just wait and see what happens this time. It won't end like this. Let's go. Of course, the 10,000 Thunder Sage did not want to admit that he had escaped, so he left a few words and left with his men. At least he would not lose too much face. Wanna leave? I think you'd better go to hell and accompany the Five Elements Saint. That way you too won't be lonely on the road to hell. Lin Xian was full of killing intent as he charged over again. Damn it! How dare you attack our saint? The elders of the 10,000 Thunders Sacred Ground roared crazily. Lin Xian waved his hand and threw the 5 Elements Saint's head out. With a bang, it was blown up by the elders of the 10,000 Thunders Sacred Ground. Damn it! When the people of the 5 Elements Palace saw this, their eyes turned red. They stared at Lin Xian with murderous intent. At the same time, they stared at the elders of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground. The elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground hurriedly said, "Brothers of the 5 Elements Palace, this has nothing to do with us. The 5 Elements Saint was killed by this kid. We should join forces to take him down." Take me down? Humph, you guys are already trying to escape. Do you want to drag the 5 Elements Palace down with you? Lin Xian began to sow discord. Sure enough, the people of the 5 Elements Palace looked unfriendly. They stared at the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground with cold eyes. The people of the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground also walked out. The 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground obviously wanted to retreat now because their saint had not been killed. However, the people of the 5 Elements Palace and the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground were different. Their saint had been killed by the other party, but they still wanted to fight to the death. Do you want to leave, 10,000 Thunder Sage? The people of the 5 Elements Palace gritted their teeth. The elder of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground braced himself and said, "You guys have seen it. This kid's strength is too terrifying. I think it's better for us to leave for the time being and think about it. Otherwise more people will die." As soon as these words came out, the faces of the people of the 5 Elements Palace and the 9 Heavens Sacred Ground turned black. What a joke. How could they stop at this time? The murderous intent on their bodies became stronger and stronger. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He stared at the 10,000 Thunder Sage and said, "I told you, you can't escape." As he spoke, he raised his hand and slashed with his sword. A terrifying sword light slashed forward. "Get lost." The 10,000 Thunder Sage roared, and the elders were scared out of their wits. Bang! The 10,000 Thunder Sage's lightning palm was split open by the sword. Chapter 25-21. Damn it! How could his sword chi be so powerful? The 10,000 Thunder Saint's expression changed in an instant. He did not dare to fight back. After all, his opponent had killed the 5 Elements Saint. He was afraid that his opponent's strength had surpassed his. Boom! The 10,000 Thunder Saint roared, and the lightning in the sky intertwined, forming a sea of lightning. He turned around and left. However, he was still one step too late. Lin Xian waved his hand, and 108,000 golden swords quickly intertwined and cut off the 10,000 Thunder Saints' escape route. At the same time, the sky-reaching Divine Wood descended from the sky, trying to suppress him. Boom! The Divine Wood was like a giant pillar that reached the sky. It crushed the void, tore apart the sea of lightning, and blasted the 10,000 Thunder Saints' body. The 10,000 Thunder Saint vomited blood and flew backward. All the bones in his body were broken. He flew out for a long time before he stopped. Then, with a roar, lightning crackled all over his body, and all the broken bones were reborn again. "Damn kid, don't go too far." The 10,000 Thunder Saint roared crazily. He was a saint after all. How dare his opponent treat him like this? That drove him crazy. What? You want the treatment of a saint? You want me to be respectful to you? Fine. Lin Xian sneered. Then I'll invite you to die. He turned into a bolt of lightning and rushed out. The biting cold sword light shrouded the void as he slashed forward. Thunder God Bracelet. The 10,000 Thunder Saint was also angry. He opened his mouth and spat out a Thunder God Bracelet. It was covered with terrifying runes. It was one of his trump cards, called the Thunder God Bracelet. As soon as the Thunder God Bracelet appeared in the air, it whistled and crashed forward. Boom! In an instant, it shattered the sword light that filled the sky and erupted with an incomparably powerful power of thunder. The Thunder God Bracelet was a trump card. It was said that it was indestructible and could destroy everything. That brat surnamed Lin also walked the path of a firm and fierce cultivation method. Between the two of them, who would be the stronger one? The martial artists in the passage were discussing animatedly. They were somewhat expectant. The 10,000 Thunder Saints' confidence increased greatly after his successful attack. From the looks of it, the other party was only SOSO. Could it be that the other party had used the Saint's hand bone to kill the 5 Elements Saint? Although he hadn't seen it, he didn't believe that the other party could kill a holy sun by relying on his own strength. In the next moment, he activated the Lightning God's bracelet again and charged forward. Instantly, the surrounding sword chi was all sent flying. Ah! You're just SOSO. Today I will avenge the 5 elements saint. The 10,000 lightning saint sun let out a long roar. Instead of running away he attacked. The holy sun. These elders were worried about the 10,000 thunder saint sun. They wanted to remind him to leave. However, Wan Leixing still rushed over and fought with Lin Xian. Seeing this scene, the corners of Lin Xian's mouth curled into a strange smile. Great 5-element seal. A cold voice came out of his mouth. Hearing this, everyone was shocked. What? Great seal of 5 elements? What was this kid talking about? He also knows the 5 elements great seal? Heavens, what kind of joke was this? The great seal of 5 elements was the supreme secret technique of the 5 elements palace. Other than the 5 elements saint and a few of the elders, no one else could learn it. This kid is obviously not from the 5 elements palace. How could he know the great seal of 5 elements? That's right. I think he's just trying to scare the 10,000 lightning saint sun. Although that kid also knows the power of 5 elements, he can't use the great seal of 5 elements. However, these people were soon stunned. This was because they found that the lightning god's bracelet was fixed in mid-air. Buzz, buzz, buzz. The lightning god's bracelet shone brightly and countless lightning runes flashed on it. It was very terrifying. However, at this moment it couldn't move at all. Not only that, but the 10,000 lightning saint sun's body was also stiff, as if he had been enchanted. What? He was really sealed. How could this be? These people were so shocked that their eyes almost popped out of their sockets. The people of the 5 elements palace screamed. Whoosh! In front of him, a sword light slashed over and slashed the 10,000 lightning saint sun's body, sending him flying. The 10,000 lightning saint sun's armor was split open, and blood flowed out like a river, dyeing the void red. Poof! He kept retreating. Ah! The 10,000 lightning saint sun roared crazily. He was finally frightened. It was too terrifying. His opponent's strength was far beyond his imagination. He didn't dare to fight anymore. Revenge for the 5 elements saint sun could go to hell. He just wanted to take back the thunder bracelet and leave quickly. Boom! The lightning god's bracelet trembled, and endless thunder burst out like a vast sea, piercing through the surrounding void. Whoosh! It directly broke all the seals and rushed out. Lin Xian was surprised. He didn't expect the lightning god's bracelet to break through the seal. He didn't expect the lightning god's bracelet to break through his seal so quickly. He had simulated the great seal of 5 elements through the great dragon sword soul. Although it wasn't the real great seal of 5 elements, the seal's effect was not weak at all. The lightning god's bracelet could escape. It seemed that its strength was indeed powerful. Lin Xian narrowed his eyes. The 10,000 lightning saint sun heaved a sigh of relief. The lightning god's bracelet on his head turned around and fled. It turned into a flash of light and tore open the void. Just as he was about to escape, a divine dragon's tail slapped over and smashed half of his body. He was sent flying again, vomiting blood. Who was it? The 10,000 lightning saint sun roared. He was about to go crazy. It was me. The dark red divine dragon sneered. Your magic treasure is not bad. Leave it for me. The dark red divine dragon's eyes lit up as he stared at the lightning god's bracelet. That was a good thing. The dark red divine dragon was very happy. Previously he had snatched a heaven stage elementary treasure chi spear, and now he had his eyes on the lightning god's bracelet. The heaven stage treasure chi spear had the soul mark of a peerless almighty on it, but the dark red divine dragon had forcibly sealed it. After the battle he would erase it bit by bit. At this moment he grabbed a spear and stabbed it out. Between heaven and earth, thousands of spear lights shot forward like rainbows. Stinky snake. Get lost. The 10,000 lightning saint sun was furious. He waved the lightning god's bracelet to fight against it. An earth-shattering collision sounded, but at this time on the other side, Lin Xian also waved his long sword. He slashed the lightning god's bracelet with his sword. The dark red divine dragon roared and waved his dragon claws, which kept enlarging. Like a red mountain, he enveloped the lightning god's bracelet. Ah! The lightning god's bracelet is mine. The dark red divine dragon laughed strangely. Seeing this scene, the 10,000 lightning saint sun's face changed. The elders of the 10,000 lightning saint sun roared. Damn it! They put down the lightning god's bracelet. They attacked like crazy, trying to take back the lightning god's bracelet. However, they were all destroyed by Lin Xian's sword chi. A sword slashed across the sky, cutting off the connection between these people and the lightning god's bracelet. The dark red divine dragon grabbed it to the side, wanting to take it back. However, at this time his expression changed. Because a terrifying killing intent suddenly erupted from the lightning god's bracelet. Chapter 25-22. Inside the thunder god bracelet, a terrifying killing intent suddenly erupted. Like a flood it gushed out. Damn it. In an instant, the dark red divine dragon threw out the thunder god bracelet. However, he was still affected. Bang. He was sent flying. A crack appeared on his dragon claw and blood flowed out. Damn it. This emperor is in so much pain. The dark red divine dragon grimaced in pain and hurriedly drank all the dripping dragon blood back. His blood was very precious. He was unwilling to leave it for nothing and let others take advantage of him. Lin Xian was also surprised. He knew that the dark red divine dragon's body was strong. Even a heaven-grade artifact might not be able to blast it open. But now there was a crack. What exactly was that shocking killing intent? The killing intent of an invincible king. There was actually the killing intent of an invincible king in this thunder god bracelet. The dark red divine dragon cried out. Damn it, how dare you trick me? What? The killing intent of an invincible king. No wonder. The people in the passage also understood. Indeed, they had seen the power of the dark red divine dragon before, but they did not expect this killing intent to be the killing intent of an invincible king. An invincible king was a terrifying existence that they looked up to. A single look could kill a peerless almighty. Could be said that it was extremely terrifying. The people of the Myriad Thunder Holy Land had gloomy faces, and the Myriad Thunder Holy Sun's face was even colder. Damn it, it actually failed to kill him. They were too surprised. As these people knew, the killing intent of an invincible king could easily kill a peerless almighty. However, the other party did not die. It was only a crack in his claw. This kind of injury was nothing to people of their level. Kid, be careful. This thunder god bracelet is too damn evil. The dragon blood on the dark red divine dragon surged and the cracked claw recovered. Lin Xian's expression was incomparably solemn. He did not expect that there would be the killing intent of a king in the thunder god bracelet. This was definitely something that could threaten his life. However, what puzzled him was that if there was such a terrifying killing weapon, why didn't the other party directly use it before? If that was the case, perhaps he would have suffered more serious injuries. Could it be that the killing intent of an invincible king could not be activated? He could only use it passively? Lin Xian's eyes shone with a cold light. He felt more and more that it was possible. Moreover, he guessed that invincible kings wouldn't have too much killing intent. Otherwise, the 10,000 Thunder Saint would not have escaped. The elders of the 10,000 Lightning Holy Land would not be so nervous. Thinking of this, the corner of his mouth raised into a cold smile. If that was the case, then things would be much easier. Humph, it's just a strand of the killing intent of an invincible king. You want to kill me? You guys are too naive. Lin Xian attacked again. What? This brat actually dared to resist the killing intent of an invincible king? Was he tired of living? Could it be that he still had some sort of trump card to rely on? The martial artists in the passageway discussed animatedly. As for the people from the 10,000 Lightning Holy Land, their faces darkened. Damn it. The 10,000 Thunder Saint waved his hand and controlled the Thunder God bracelet to rush out. Brat, you are too arrogant and ignorant. Today I will let you know the power of an invincible king's killing intent. Sure enough, a terrifying killing intent circulated between heaven and earth, piercing through the 9 heavens and 10 earths. Everyone trembled and prostrated themselves on the ground. Lin Xian also felt a great crisis. Countless sword lights surrounded his body, forming the shadow of a dragon sword that roared in the void. It resisted the killing intent of an invincible king. There was a loud rumble. Heaven and earth trembled, and Lin Xian retreated with a trace of blood flowing from the corner of his mouth. Seeing this, the 10,000 Thunder Saint laughed wildly. Did you see that, brat? An ignorant ant like you dares to compete with an invincible king? A wisp of killing intent can destroy you. What's there to be arrogant about? Even if you hurt me, it's the power of an invincible king, not your power. I really don't know where your arrogance comes from. Lin Xian wiped the blood from the corner of his mouth, and his eyes became brighter and brighter. It's just a wisp of killing intent, not the true body of an invincible king. Do you really think you can kill me? So what if you are an invincible king? Next, I will let you have a taste of the pressure of a sage. Lin Xian tore another corner of the sage's seal. Boom. A force that swept across heaven and earth surged out, and the killing intent of an invincible king was swallowed up like a boat in a storm. Damn it. This scene made the people of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground roar crazily. The people of the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground and Five Elements Palace also retreated to resist the pressure of the sage. But fortunately this time, Lin Xian only tore it for a short while before sealing it again. This made everyone breathe a sigh of relief. The people of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground had dark faces. The killing intent of an invincible king in their Thunder God bracelet had been obliterated. Even if there was a wisp left, it was very little and could not exert its power. Ah! What invincible king's killing intent? It's nothing in front of a sage. The dark red divine dragon sneered. Keep acting tough. Come and kill me. Let's see if your invincible killing intent can still work. Lin Xian also brandished his sword and charged forward. The ancient dragon abyss sword turned into a giant sword and slashed down, crushing the void. It slashed on the Thunder God bracelet. With a boom, the Thunder God bracelet was sent flying again. At the same time, the sharp sword light slashed toward Jiuxiao Seiko. Jiuxiao Seiko's face changed drastically. He knew the power of the opponent's sword chi. If even the Thunder God bracelet could not resist it, he was afraid that his body could not resist it. So he quickly retreated. At the same time, he controlled the Thunder God bracelet to float above his head to resist. However, the power of the great dragon sword soul was beyond his imagination. If he still had the killing intent of an invincible king, he might be able to resist it. But now, the Thunder God bracelet alone was not enough to resist it. Sure enough, after 3 slashes, the Thunder God bracelet was sent flying again. The 4th slash cut the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Sun in half. Sacred Sun. The elders of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground went crazy. They even burned their spiritual power and rushed forward crazily, trying to save the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Sun. Half of them rushed toward the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Sun, while the other half rushed toward Lin Xian. All kinds of secret techniques and magic treasures were thrown out without any regard for their lives. Lin Xian did not resist. His body shook and he quickly retreated into the distance. This is great. After saving the Sacred Sun, the people of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground breathed a sigh of relief. Boom, boom, boom. The 10,000 Thunder Sacred Sun's broken body was reassembled. His face was pale and full of horror. Damn it. Run, run. He did not dare to stay here any longer. 6 or 7 elders gathered around him, and there were many disciples of the 10,000 Thunder Sacred Ground around him, protecting him in the center. The group of people quickly retreated. Lin Xian did not chase after them. Instead he sneered. Mysterious golden lines appeared in his eyes. Not good, it's a soul power attack. Sacred Sun, quickly defend. Chapter 25-23. The elders of the Thousand Thunder Sacred Land shouted frantically. They covered the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun with their soul defense magic treasures. The Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun even activated his magic treasure. The opponent's soul power was no weaker than the sword chi. In fact, it was even weirder. Therefore they didn't dare to be careless. They didn't expect that Lin Xian's soul power attack wasn't aimed at the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun. Instead, it was aimed at an elder next to the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun. This elder was very close to the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun, just to his left. Moreover, just now, this elder even gave his soul defense magic treasure to the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun. It could be said that there was no defense at all. It had to be said that these elders were really dutiful. They would rather have their souls destroyed to protect the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun. However, this also gave Lin Xian an opportunity. Lin Xian didn't use soul ignition. He used another magic power. Divine guidance. It was a kind of controlling eye technique. In other words, it could temporarily control someone's soul and thus that person. Lin Xian's current soul power was so powerful that it had surpassed that of a peerless almighty. Coupled with the heavenly secret divine eyes, although the opponent's elder was also a peerless almighty, he was still controlled in an instant. A strange light appeared in his eyes and his body was out of control. A long saber appeared in his hand, and then he slashed at the Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun. He raised his hand and the saber fell. The Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun was split in half, and blood spurted out wildly. What's going on? The Thousand Thunder Sacred Sun was split in half. What happened? Everyone was stunned. Could it be that Lin Xian had made his move again? No, who was it? It was the elder of the Thousand Thunder Sacred Land. The martial artists in the surrounding passageways went crazy. Not to mention them, the people of the Five Elements Palace and the Nine Heavens Sacred Land were also stunned. Those of the Thousand Thunder Sacred Land were even crazier. Damn it, what are you doing? The people next to him hurriedly sent the elder flying with a palm strike. The elder's bones were broken, and half of his body turned into a bloody mist. He screamed miserably and flew out, smashing through the void. However, the pain also woke him up from the illusion. When he found out what he had done, he screamed like a madman. "Oh, damn it. That wasn't my intention. I'm being controlled." However, the people from the 10,000 Lightning Holy Land reacted as if they were facing a great enemy, and refused to allow them to approach. On the other side, the 10,000 Thunder Saints screamed crazily. He didn't expect to be struck by his own people. This caused his injuries to worsen. Fortunately, although he was seriously injured, it was not fatal. His body slowly healed. However, right at this moment, an ice-cold voice sounded from behind him. "Do you still want to recover? Go to hell and accompany the 5 Elements Saint." "No." The 10,000 Thunder Saint roared like crazy, "Save me." The elders of the 10,000 Thunder Holy Land went crazy. They wanted to save him. However, it was already too late. During the chaos just now, Lin Xian had reached the back of the 10,000 Thunder Holy Sun at an extreme speed. A dragon-shaped sword shadow condensed in his hand. With a slash, the great dragon sword spirit destroyed everything, directly destroying the opponent's mind and spirit. Boom. The 10,000 Thunder Saints' body, which had not yet recovered, exploded again and turned into a bloody mist. This time not even his bones were left. It turned into a rain of blood, sprinkling in all directions. His soul was also destroyed in the biting cold sword light. The great dragon sword spirit was unparalleled. The 10,000 Thunder Saint was killed. Heavens! Everyone went crazy. This was the 3rd saint to die. Although the ancient tomb was dangerous before, no one at the level of a saint had died. But who would have thought that 3 holy sons would fall in succession? Moreover, they were not killed by the powerful array formation in the ancient tomb, but by a young master who killed them in a domineering manner. It's over. Earthquake. It was definitely a big earthquake. The 3 great sage would probably go crazy and hunt them down at all costs. Sure enough, the 10,000 Thunder Saints screamed crazily. They began to burn their spiritual power, and their murderous aura was monstrous. At this moment they could kill gods and Buddhas. Not only the 10,000 Thunder Saint, but also the 5 Elements Palace and the 9 Heavens Holy Land. At this moment they also attacked at all costs. They sealed off all directions. They swore to kill the other party. Lin Xian waved his hand and Ruffian Dragon quickly came in. He raised his hand and summoned the Black Earth, and the 2 of them entered. At the same time, Lin Xian completely tore open the seal on the saint's hand bone. Suddenly, a terrifying force surged out and flooded the entire space. Oh no, run. The people in the passage were so scared that their scalps went numb. They turned around and fled. In an instant, they were enveloped by the pressure of the saint. They turned into a large cloud of blood mist. Only some experts were able to escape. However, their bodies were also shattered. Only one of their heads remained intact and reassembled in the distance. Their faces were filled with horror. Run. These people did not dare to stay any longer, and they did not want to know how the battle was going. The pressure of the saint was too terrifying. Damn it, is that kid crazy? How can he resist this power? Does he want to die together with the saint? These people were terrified as they fled. In the main hall, the people of the 3 great sage screamed again and again. They did not expect that the other party would really dare to activate the saint's pressure. Previously, although they were terrified by the saint's hand bone, their lives were not threatened. Because they knew that the other party did not dare to go all out. Otherwise, the other party would not have been able to survive. But now the other party had gone all out. What? They could not understand. In an instant, many elders and geniuses were pierced by the saint's pressure. Their bodies split open in the sky and turned into blood mist. It was sad and beautiful, but it made people despair. Quickly recall our land tokens. The elders of the 3 great sage roared crazily. An immortal palace floated over and the door opened, storing the remaining people inside. A purple thunder pool descended, and terrifying thunder and lightning enveloped the remaining elders of the myriad Thunder Holy Land. In the sky, the 5 Elements flag rolled and shrouded the surviving people of the 5 Elements Palace. These 3 treasures were used to resist the saint's hand bone, so they could not use them. But now the saint's hand bone had completely erupted, and they could not resist it. They quickly used these 3 treasures to protect the remaining people and prevent them from being killed. The remaining people had all gone into hiding. In the space, there was only the pressure of the saint and the sea of blood that filled the sky. Although the people of the 3 great sage had used their super trump cards, only a small number of them survived. About 1/5 of them survived. The rest of them were all killed. Moreover, even if they hid in their trump cards, they still suffered a fierce impact. The three treasures kept retreating, swaying in the sky. On the other side, inside the black earth, Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon heaved a sigh of relief. They looked outside through the light screen. Chapter 25-24. The dark red divine dragon sneered, "You let these guys chase us. Now you know what's good for you." But unfortunately not all of them were killed. It's already very good to be able to do this. It's impossible to kill all of them. If we hadn't used the hand bone to block their three magic treasures, I'm afraid it would have been very difficult to kill the 5 Elements Saint Sun and the 1,000 Thunder Saint Sun. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. The black earth kept swaying in the sky, also suffering a strong impact. However, this was a super spirit ship. Although the impact was fierce, it couldn't be broken at all. Therefore Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon inside were not worried. They stopped in mid-air and quickly communicated with each other. Lin Xian frowned. I'm very curious. Who killed Zhou Xiao Seiko? You really didn't do it? The dark red divine dragon asked. Lin Xian shook his head. That was strange. That guy had the immortal palace. It seemed that this immortal palace could withstand the pressure of a sage. However, Zhou Xiao Seiko was killed. What kind of method is this? Could it be that there are others who have a sage's magic treasure? Kid, be careful. The people who came in this time were all extremely terrifying people. There were even existences like the sage physique. Who knew if there were any mysterious people hiding here? For example, the Yi family and the Yaoguang sacred ground both had imitations of extreme weapons. If the power was fully unleashed, it would be extremely terrifying. It was not inferior to the pressure of a sage. Perhaps there was another reason. Lin Xian said in a deep voice. What's the reason? The dark red divine dragon asked. Mo. Lin Xian's eyes flickered. Remember when I used divine attraction to injure the 1,000 Thunder Saint Sun? They couldn't react at all. Even if the 1,000 Thunder Saint Sun was heavily protected, I still succeeded. Therefore, a mole is the most difficult to guard against. You're saying that someone from the 9 Heavens sacred ground killed Zhou Xiao Seiko? The dark red divine dragon also gasped. Then what is he after? Zhou Xiao Seiko's death caused a huge commotion. Even if these people returned alive, they would be punished by the Holy Land. The Holy Land would definitely not let them off easily. What if Zhou Xiao Seiko's death was beneficial to that person? For example, he could become the new son of Saint. You're saying that it was done by a successor candidate. The dark red dragon instantly understood. Indeed, the position of the Holy Sun was very coveted. However, the Holy Sun was usually very powerful and had a lot of support. It was impossible for others to plot against him. However, if a Holy Sun was seriously injured and his whereabouts were unknown, then it was a different story. If he could quietly get rid of the other saints, there was a possibility that the other saints would become the next generation of saints. Then he would have the chance to become the future master of the Holy Land. To everyone this was another form of temptation. Even the inner members of the 9 Heavens holy ground would do something like this. After all, the human heart was the most vicious. Forget it. This matter has nothing to do with me. Let them fight each other. It would be best if they were torn apart. Lin Xian sneered. He prepared to take back the saint's hand bone and leave. Forming a seal with his palms, Lin Xian cast a few seals and floated out of the black earth. He flew forward, wanting to seal it again. However, this time he frowned. What was going on? The seal had failed. Lin Xian frowned. The dark red dragon was also puzzled. It shouldn't be. Let me try. He waved his dragon claws and cast a few seals, but this time it also failed. Damn, what was going on? Could it be that the seal couldn't work? Little Xian, how big of a seal did you tear? It wasn't too big. It should be the same as before, 3 seals. Previously, when Lin Xian fought against the battle tribes Jianghu, he had torn this kind of seal. At that time he had also successfully resealed the saint's hand bone. But now he realized that he couldn't reseal it. This was far too inconceivable. One had to realize that when he had fought against Jianghu, he had only been a 7-star king tier. Now he was already a mid-7-star king. His strength and cultivation had undergone earth-shattering changes. Could be said that it should be easier to reseal it. But now he realized that it wasn't like that at all. Oh no, something's wrong. Something must have gone wrong. Damn it, this ancient tomb is too strange. The dark red dragon was also scared. He had a feeling that this ancient tomb was definitely not simple. Now the saint's hand bone was very likely because of this ancient tomb. Sure enough, as soon as he finished speaking, the seal on the saint's hand bone outside was broken again. Even more terrifying pressure swept across the area. This time, not only the entire hall, but the surrounding passageways and the distant space were all affected. Oh no! The black earth was instantly sent flying. Lin Xian and the dark red dragon's blood boiled. In addition, the martial artists of the 3 great sage lands in the Immortal Palace, the Lightning Sea and the 5-element flags were so scared that their scalps went numb. They couldn't care less anymore and quickly retreated. They turned into a stream of light and tore through the void. Lin Xian didn't leave. He stared at the saint's hand bone. Now he could leave safely. However, he still had to reseal the hand bone. So he stayed here. Ka. At this moment, the surrounding void quickly shattered, and black holes appeared one after another, spreading in all directions. Oh no, it's this situation again. Seeing this scene, Lin Xian and the dark red dragon's expressions changed. At this moment, not only them but all the martial artists in the ancient tomb exclaimed. These people were scattered in all directions. Some were fighting for treasures, some were killing, and some were resisting the array formation. At that moment, without exception, cracks appeared in the space around them. This scene was extremely similar because not long ago, they found the heads of 99 invincible kings in the bronze cauldron. Then, the void shattered and they were teleported in all directions. Now the same thing was happening. Damn it, what's happening? These people screamed crazily. Could it be that someone had found the heads of 99 invincible kings again? In the Yi family, Yi Wudao frowned. In the wavering light sacred ground, the wavering light holy sun's eyes flickered. The 108 godly demon halos around his body protected him. Could it be that there was something similar to the bronze cauldron and 99 heads in the ancient tomb? They weren't the only ones. Gu Santong, No Flower, Murong Qingqing, Xinjingqiu, Xing Tian, and all the other experts were stunned. In the next moment, they were swallowed by the black hole and couldn't resist at all. On Lin Xian's side, the black earth was also swallowed by the black hole. Damn it! Lin Xian roared and used his last chance to cast another set of seals and float out. He didn't know what happened next. The world spun and the surroundings were dark. After an unknown period of time, there was finally light. This is? Lin Xian and the dark red dragon hurriedly looked outside. They saw that the outside was incomparably vast and boundless. What is that place? Chapter 25-25. Is this another strange space? The dark red dragon was surprised. Lin Xian shook his head. No, look at the ground below. It's exactly the same as the floors of the palaces in the ancient tomb. It's filled with a desolate aura. Come to think of it, we should still be in the ancient tomb. I'm guessing that this should also be a large hall, but it's too spacious and we can't see anything. Damn it, we've been teleported again. Could it be that the saint's hand bone triggered some mechanism in the ancient tomb? That's possible. Lin Xian nodded. The dark red dragon's mouth twitched. Little Xian, do you think the pressure emitted by the saint's hand bone triggered the saint's corpse? Don't talk nonsense. Hearing that, Lin Xian was so scared that his scalp went numb. They could not even resist a wisp of the saint's pressure. If the ancient saint buried in the ancient tomb was resurrected or his corpse mutated, then all of them would be finished. Not to mention the clan of the ancients or the peerless sacred grounds, even if they had the black earth, they would not be able to survive. The saint was too far away from them. One look from the saint could probably kill all of them. The dark red dragon was also shocked by its own thoughts. Impossible, someone who has been dead for tens of thousands of years can't be resurrected. Suddenly the dark red dragon exclaimed. Kid, the saint's hand bone is back. Sure enough, they discovered that on the floor of the black earth, there was a white hand bone quietly lying there. At this moment, the saint's hand bone was sealed again. Great. Seeing that, Lin Xian breathed a sigh of relief. He waved his hand and the saint's hand bone floated into his hand. It's indeed sealed. He was originally worried that they would be teleported away. What would happen to the saint's hand bone? Wouldn't they lose it? He did not expect it to come back on its own. This is very strange. Don't move around. Let's see where we are first. In the sky, spatial cracks appeared and figures appeared one after another. It seemed that other than Lin Xian and the dark red dragon, the others were also teleported to the vast and boundless hall. More and more people appeared. As soon as they appeared, they also shone brightly and formed a protective barrier. Then they looked around in bewilderment. What was that? When they saw the black spirit boat floating in the sky, they all looked as if they were facing a formidable enemy. With a flash of light, the spirit boat disappeared. Lin Xian and the dark red divine dragon appeared in the void. Was that brat? These people were shocked. They didn't expect it to be Lin Xian. We were teleported here as well. Lin Xian said indifferently. He didn't want to start a war for no reason. These people heaved a sigh of relief. It seemed that the other party had been teleported here just like them. Damn it. What was going on? What happened? These people discussed animatedly. They didn't know that it was caused by Lin Xian's Saint's Hand bone. Otherwise, these people would have gone up and fought Lin Xian to the death. Young master. Xing Tian was teleported over as well. He took a step forward and arrived beside Lin Xian. Other than him, Elder Li, Elder Lu, Elder Wang, Peacock, Hui Dao, and the others had rushed over from all directions. Older brother Xian. Murong Qingqing was also there. Lin Xian big brother. Xin Jingqiu ran over cheering. Lin Xian hugged the two of them in his arms and asked with concern, "Are the two of you hurt?" Seeing this scene, the others were envious, jealous, and hateful. Fuck. Having two lovers on each side was the pinnacle of life. That damn brat, how dare he show off his love on the spot. Someone go and kill him. The sound of teeth gnashing could be heard. Boom. They stopped talking because a golden figure was teleported out of the sky. This person was tall and had a golden body. He was exuding vitality like an ancient demon god. Wu Dao. Why do I feel that his aura has become stronger again? Heavens, did this sacred physique get some heaven-defying opportunity and breakthrough? Everyone screamed in horror. The saints and saintesses were also facing a formidable enemy. Indeed, they felt that Wu Dao's aura was much stronger than before. Moreover, it wasn't his full strength. It was just an aura that was occasionally emitted when he stood there casually. He had broken through. The four symbol saints clenched their fists. It was unbelievable that he had broken through a small realm in such a short time. The saintess of the Illusion Palace's eyes were also shining. As expected of a sacred physique, he had such a great opportunity. A prince of the Nine Li dynasty was also very envious. After Wu Dao appeared, he stood in the void and looked around. Soon he saw Lin Xian and greeted him with a smile. Lin Xian also responded. Behind Leaf Dao Denier, the other elders and experts of the Yi clan hurried over to join him. After him, the Alcade Saint also arrived, and the light on his body was even brighter. Why do I feel that the Alcade Saint's aura is even stronger than before? After the Alcade Saint appeared, he also looked around. The light on his body was so bright that no one could see his expression clearly. Only his eyes were like divine lamps. Powerful figures descended one after another. Among them, there was a handsome man in a green robe. He was spirited and handsome like an immortal. The Taishan Saint of the Taishan Sacred Ground. As soon as he appeared, the light on his body quickly disappeared, and he looked like an ordinary person. Everyone glanced at him and did not pay attention to him, because his aura seemed to be slightly weaker than the Alcade Saint and Wu Dao. More and more people gathered. Among them, the people of the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground, the Five Elements Palace, and the Thousand Thunder Sacred Ground had all arrived. However, these people did not know what had happened. Otherwise they would not be so calm. Among them, among the people of the Nine Heavens Sacred Ground, a man's eyes were shining, and he looked very excited. When he looked up and saw Lin Xian in the sky, he immediately sneered. "Kid, let's see how you die later." He was a candidate of the Nine Heavens Sacred Emperor. Previously he had done something big. If this matter were to spread, he believed that it would definitely shock everyone. Moreover, no one would suspect him. Everyone would suspect that Lin Xian. In this way, not only did he benefit from it, but he also framed others. It could be said that he had killed many birds with one stone. Around them. Where exactly was this place? The others were discussing it. Those elders also gathered together and began to discuss the matter quickly. Boom. Boom. However, at this moment, the sky split open again and three powerful auras came over. As soon as the auras appeared, the void collapsed. Everyone's hair stood on end and they retreated crazily. Some of the martial artists who retreated too slowly were directly sent flying. Damn it. Who is it? There's danger. Hurry up and defend. Exclamations came one after another. Everyone was on guard, but when they saw the attackers they were stunned. In the sky, three black holes appeared. An immortal palace floated and a lightning pool spread out. A five elements flag swayed in the sky. The three artifacts appeared in the sky. They did not attack, but the aura they emitted casually sent those people flying. Heavens, so powerful. This was the trump card of the Five Elements Palace, the Thousand Thunder Sacred Ground, and the Nine Heavens Sacred Emperor. Why did they use it? What happened to them? Chapter 25-26. The people from the myriad thunder sacred ground, 9 heavens sacred ground, and 5 elements palace were also stunned. They quickly flew up to welcome them. They're here. Below them, the saint from the 9 heavens sacred ground sneered. Whoosh! In the sky. The immortal palace opened and 7 or 8 elders walked out. They were not staggering, but their faces were pale and there was blood on their bodies. It was a shocking sight. What happened? The people from the 9 heavens sacred ground who came to welcome them saw this scene and their hearts beat wildly. They had a bad premonition. Could it be that they had encountered a killing array in the ancient tomb? The others were also puzzled. The people from the 5 elements palace and 10,000 thunder sacred ground became nervous. Even the 9 heavens sacred ground elder who came out of the immortal palace was injured. Then, would the people from the lightning pool and 5 elements flag be affected as well? Sure enough, when the people from the lightning pool and 5 elements palace walked out, they were also stunned. Because these people's auras were weak and their eyes were red. Their killing intent was shocking, and their bodies were covered in a bloody light. What happened? They asked, and the others also watched with wide eyes. But in the next moment they were stunned. Because the 3 great sage sacred ground elders were crying together. They were crying like crazy. It was as if they were newborn children. Heavens, what's going on? Are these elders dazed? A peerless almighty expert was actually crying? These people couldn't believe their eyes. The 3 great sage sacred ground elders who came to welcome them were also stunned. What happened? Their hearts were beating faster and faster. It seemed that the situation was more serious than they thought. No, where's the saint? Where's our saint? The people from the great sage sacred ground elders finally reacted. So many experts had come, and the others seemed to have arrived as well. Only the 3 great sage sacred ground elders were missing. Could it be that the holy sun of their holy land was trapped by some kind of array formation? Our holy sun has been killed. The people from the 5 elements palace were the first to scream. What? This voice was like a bolt from the blue, and the 5 elements palace's experts fainted on the ground. The others also cried out in surprise, not daring to believe their own ears. The 5 elements saint was killed? Heavens, that's impossible. I don't believe it. What a joke. Who dared to attack the 5 elements saint? Who could kill the 5 elements saint? Everyone was talking about it. Among the crowd, the 9 heavens holy grounds holy prince was dumbfounded. What's going on? He was stunned. He was waiting for news. He knew that Jianghu Seiko had been killed. If this news were to come out, it would definitely shock the world. However, the 5 elements saint had actually been killed. Heavens, did he kill Jianghu Seiko? Why was the 5 elements saint killed as well? What exactly happened? He didn't know. The other saints and saintesses also frowned. Yi Wudao, the Alcade Holy Sun, and the Prince of the Grand Xia all had grave expressions on their faces. Murong Qingqing and the others were also puzzled. Lin Xian coldly snorted. As expected, these people still came out alive. Our holy sun has also been killed. We won't be able to answer to the holy land. The elders of the 9 heavens sacred ground and the myriad thunder sacred ground screamed in agony. Their faces were filled with despair. The people from the remaining 2 holy lands were also stunned when they heard the news. 3 of the great sages' holy sons had been killed. The countless experts, holy sons and holy daughters in the hall were all dumbfounded at this moment. To be honest, when they first heard that the 5 elements saint had been killed, they didn't believe it. However, after thinking about it carefully, it wasn't impossible. Although the 5 elements saint was powerful, he was only average among all the saints. If there was a powerful saint with enough trump cards, it wasn't impossible to kill the 5 elements saint. However, no one was willing to kill a saint and offend a holy land. Therefore, at first, they suspected that it might be some itinerant cultivator or a lunatic like the twin kings of Middle Ground. However, when they heard that the Jianghu Seiko and the myriad thunder saint had also been killed, they couldn't accept it. They couldn't accept it. What a joke. The death of a saint might be an accident. However, 3 saints had died at the same time. What was going on? Could it be that they had encountered a peerless killing array in the ancient tomb? Their hearts beat wildly. After all, this was the ancient tomb of a saint. There were some things left behind that they couldn't resist at all. For example, if the 99 heads of invincible kings were released, not to mention 3 saints, even 30 saints wouldn't be able to resist it. These 3 people from the great sage were too unlucky. Could it be that they had encountered a peerless killing array at the same time? The others were discussing. The saint from the 9 heavens holy land also had a gloomy expression. What a coincidence. Well, it'll help me cover it up. However, that kid got lucky. He looked at Lin Xian. The saints and saintesses of the other holy lands had their eyes flickering. The three great sage experts hurriedly asked, "Damn it, what did you say? How could our saints have been killed? What's going on? What's going on? Tell us. Who killed our holy son? Could it be that it was really a peerless killing array in the ancient tomb?" It wasn't a peerless killing array. The three great sage elders went crazy. They looked around. Then they stared in one direction. These surviving elders roared and pointed forward. "It's him. It's that kid. He was the one who killed our holy son." "What? It wasn't a killing array? It was killed by someone? Who was it? Was it really the twin kings of Jianghu?" These people went crazy. They followed the finger of the three great sage elders and looked into the distance. Along the way, those martial artists instantly dodged in the direction pointed by the finger. Even the older generation and saints also dodged. Their scalps went numb. What kind of joke was this? They didn't kill any saints and they didn't want to be the scapegoat. Therefore, in an instant, everyone fled faster than rabbits. However, there was a group of people who didn't dodge, and that was the people of Immortal Palace. Everyone looked in that direction. When they saw Lin Xian and the Immortal Palace experts, their scalps went numb. It wasn't the twin kings of Jianghu, but the people of Immortal Palace. Could it be that the Immortal Palace experts killed the three great sage sons? But that shouldn't be the case. No matter how powerful the Immortal Palace experts were, they couldn't compete with the three great sage sons. After all, if the three great sage sons joined forces, even a clan of the ancients like the Yi family would have a headache, let alone Immortal Palace. For a moment, countless eyes fell on Lin Xian and the others. Among them, Shen Jingqiu, Murong Qingqing, and the others were also stunned. Peacock, Hui Dao, and the others were also confused. The Immortal Palace martial artists were even more stunned. Elder Li, Elder Wang, and Elder Lu were stunned as well. Xing Tian shouted coldly, "Nonsense." Elder Li also stood out. "If you want to fight, we'll accompany you. But don't use such unnecessary excuses. We're not afraid of fighting with you." The other two elders stood out. They emitted powerful auras. The Immortal Palace martial artists behind them also had cold expressions. Chapter 25-27. Damn it, do you think we're afraid of you? Today we'll kill all of you. The people from the great sage land had gone mad. Their killing intent overflowed into the sky like a vast ocean, making everyone's hair stand on end. What was going on? The surviving elders were so mad that they didn't hesitate to burn their life force and soul to attack. Could it be that this kid really did it? Saints. Everyone retreated. Seeing that a great battle was about to break out, the elders of the Purple Dawn Holy Land and the Jade Lake Holy Land cried out in alarm. Their saintess was still beside Lin Xian. Lin Xian let go of the two girls and said, "You two go back to your respective holy lands first." "Brother Xian." Murong Qingqing shouted. Shen Jingqiu was also puzzled. They realized that Lin Xian hadn't explained anything until now. This made them have a thought, but they didn't dare to be sure. "Be obedient and go back." Lin Xian patted them on the back. Then, with a burst of energy, he pushed the two of them out. When the two of them returned to their respective sacred grounds, they still wanted to go back. However, they were held back by their respective elders. What a joke, seeing the great sage land's desperate appearance, they didn't want their saintess to take any risks. "Kid, today you will die without a doubt. No one in the heavens or earth can save you. I'll use your blood as a sacrifice to our saintess. Don't worry, I won't let you die so easily. I'll pull out your tendons, skin you alive, and refine your soul. I'll suppress you in hell forever. You and these people from the Immortal Palace, I won't let any of you go." The cultivators of the great sage land surged with killing intent and surrounded Lin Xian and the others. The others frantically retreated, afraid of being implicated. However, No Flower, Gu Santong, Yi Wudao, and the others frowned. No Flower chanted Amitba. "Brother Lin, do you need help?" Yi Wudao took a step forward. "If you want to fight, I'll accompany you." His golden blood surged to the sky, making people want to kneel down. Seeing someone step forward, the cultivators of the great sage land frowned. The surviving elders, on the other hand, went crazy. Whoever dared to stop them would be dealt with together. They've really gone crazy. What? Are these people of the great sage land crazy? Are they going to start a war with the ancient families? Lin Xian finally spoke up when he noticed that the atmosphere was getting tense. "That's right, I did kill the 5 Elements Saint and the 10,000 Thunder Saint." What? Everyone was stunned. Heavens, what is he saying? He's killed 2 saintesses. No way, this brat actually admitted it. Oh, how could he possibly have the strength to kill 2 saints? I don't. What's happening? Countless cries of alarm rang out, and even Leaf Dowdenier and No Flower were stunned. They also didn't expect Lin Xian to admit to it. Previously they had acted because they felt that the people from the three holy lands were being unreasonable. That was why they couldn't stand by and watch. But now the other party had admitted it. This made them feel like they had no justification. Lin Xian spoke again. However, I didn't kill Jiuxiao Seiko. I don't know who killed that unlucky guy. But if the people of the Nine Heavens Holy Land want to put the blame on me, I don't mind. Anyway, killing one more or one less doesn't make a difference to me. No difference. Everyone's mouth twitched. You killed a saintess. Do you think you're cutting cabbage? At this moment, everyone was dumbfounded. They really couldn't understand what had happened. How could the other party kill 3 of the great sage's sons in a row? The cultivators of the great sage land who didn't know the truth were furious when they heard this. Each of them was filled with killing intent. Damn kid. Kneel down and accept your death. Kill him. You must kill him. Avenge our saintesses. Originally, they didn't believe that their saintesses had been killed. But now, it seemed that their 3 great sages' sons might really have been killed. Moreover, the murderer was the person in front of them. The elders of the 3 great sage land were so angry that they were trembling. Good. Kid, you've got guts. You actually dared to admit it? Since that's the case, kneel down and accept your death. Not only you. None of Immortal Palace's people will live. I want all of you to taste the feeling of living a life worse than death. Murderous intent filled the sky. The people of the 3 great sage land were like killing gods as they surrounded Lin Xian and everyone from Immortal Palace. Brother Xian. Brother Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu were extremely nervous. The others also frowned. Of course, there were also many who sneered. They thought that Lin Xian and Immortal Palace were too arrogant. They actually dared to kill the saintesses. They deserved to die. Immortal Palace's side was also angry. The other party was so aggressive. So what if their palace master killed these saintesses? Did they really think that Immortal Palace was easy to bully? They did not think that Lin Xian would kill these people for no reason. Lin Xian must have his reasons for killing the 3 great sages' sons. They also knew that these 3 great sages' sons were not good people. They had targeted their palace master more than once or twice. Sure enough, Lin Xian said in a deep voice. I killed them because they deserved to die. If you are not convinced, just attack. I'll take it. Lin Xian was not afraid. At most, he would tear the saint's hand bone. He did not believe that these people could resist. Don't talk nonsense with him. Kill. The elders of the 9 Heavens Holy Land, 5 Elements Palace, and Thousand Thunder Holy Land roared. Countless figures charged over. Xing Tian and Elder Li's side also roared. The people from Immortal Palace all attacked. A great battle broke out. However, there were too many people from the 3 great sages' lands. It could be said that they were 3 times more than Lin Xian's side. Therefore, Lin Xian's side was at a disadvantage for a while. When the surrounding holy lands saw this scene, they began to discuss. This Immortal Palace was too reckless. 1 against 3, this was a sure death situation. Unless they had some trump card. So what if they had a trump card? Did they think that the 3 great sages' lands were vegetarians? The strength of these holy lands was not too different. Moreover, the 3 great sages' combined strength was enough to make up for everything. Even the remote antiquities families did not dare to fight them easily. This time, Immortal Palace was dead for sure. Many people sneered. Sure enough, Immortal Palace's people were retreating. The eyes of the 3 great sages' people were red like demons. Do you really think that you can fight against us? Do you really think that you can fight us? Do you really want to kill all of you? Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu cried out when they saw this scene. They wanted to send people from their holy lands to help. However, they were stopped by their elders. Holy Maiden, you can't. This is not a child's play. Yes, this is not an ordinary battle. The death of the 3 great sages' holy sons could be said to have driven these people crazy. If they attacked now, they would definitely fight to the death with the 3 great sages' lands. Although Jade Lake and Purple Dawn Holy Land were powerful, they were not willing to offend the 3 great sages' lands for no reason. Don't worry, Holy Maiden. At the critical moment, we will take action and save Lin Xian. Chapter 25-28. Hearing this, Murong Qingqing heaved a sigh of relief. Xin Jingqiu also said, Granny Qian, you said it. You have to help later. On the other side, Yi Wudao, No Flower, and the others also had flickering eyes. Although they also wanted to help, the current situation was too complicated. They did not dare to act rashly. However, they also decided that at the critical moment they would definitely help. Lin Xian snorted coldly. He was prepared to take out the Black Earth and fire a few shots at them. He would kill a few peerless almighties first. However, before he made a move, Elderly roared from the side. Competing in numbers? You are too inexperienced. Boss. Elderly waved his sleeve, scattering out tens of thousands of rays of light. The surrounding people were surprised because they could see that the tens of thousands of rays of light were actually hundreds and thousands of beams. Each of them was like a golden bean floating in the sky. What kind of divine ability was that? Or was it a magical treasure? The surrounding people were shocked. They did not know what the other party was doing. The people from the Great Sage Land sneered in disdain. Just a mere bean and they wanted to make them retreat? What a joke. They had to kill the other party until not a single one was left alive. However, soon they were stunned. In fact, their faces became extremely ugly. The crowd uttered cries of astonishment. Heavens! What kind of divine ability was that? Everyone was stupefied because the golden bean was trembling in the sky. Then they suddenly became bigger and turned into figures. Heaven and earth trembled rapidly, and the void cracked, unable to withstand the energy. 1, 2, 3, hundreds and thousands of figures appeared in the sky. When these people appeared, they roared in the void, and the energy sound waves shook the blood of the people, causing the surrounding martial artists to retreat. The eyes of the Holy Land elders were like divine rainbows as they stared ahead. They sucked in a breath of cold air because the figures that appeared in front of them were too strange. They had the upper body of a human, but their lower body was the tail of a snake. They held long sabers, spears, and pikes in their hands. Terrifying killing intent swept in all directions. What was that? Puppet mechanism? The cultivators of Zhou dynasty were discussing this matter. The people from the Great Sage were also shocked. One of the young men laughed coldly. You're just a mere puppet and you want to fight us? He was really courting death. He rushed forward wanting to kill those puppets. He was a genius of the Nine Firmaments Sacred Emperor. No matter how strong the puppet was, how could it be compared to them? Kill. With a furious roar, light filled the sky and turned into a silver arc that slashed forward. The void was sliced in half in an instant. From this, one could imagine how terrifying that attack was. Clang. Among them, a figure with a human body and a snake tail stabbed out with a spear. Bang. It collided with the silver light and made a clanging sound. The heavens fell and the earth cracked as thunder rumbled. The silver light was shattered, and the bronze spear pierced through the void, smashing into the body of the genius from the nine heavens' holy ground. What? Everyone was stunned by this scene. Especially the people of Nine Firmaments Saint Emperor, they screamed like crazy. The faces of the others turned ugly. What kind of puppet was this? That was too terrifying. The one who attacked was a young genius. Although he was not as strong as a saint, he was still a powerful figure. However, he was unable to resist the opponent's spear. The level of these puppets was too terrifying. If there was such a puppet army, no one would be able to resist it. However, they had never heard of anyone who had such a terrifying puppet technique. Oh, damn it. Impossible. The people of Nine Firmaments Sacred Emperor roared. At this moment, an elder of the Yi family narrowed his eyes. This was not a puppet technique. This was magic bean soldiers. What? Magic bean soldiers. As soon as these words came out, everyone was stunned. A few elders who were like living fossils trembled in fear. Was casting beans to create soldiers the divine ability of the legends? It was rumored to be an immortal technique. How could these people know it? Immortal technique. Everyone trembled. Anything related to immortals was definitely the most mysterious and powerful. How could these people from the Immortal Palace have such a strange ability? Could it be that they were related to immortals? They did not know. Their faces were pale. Now they finally understood why the Immortal Palace dared to fight against the three great sage. With this magic bean soldiers, they could instantly gather thousands of experts. They could definitely fight against the three great sage. Damn it. The three great sage roared in anger. They were also stunned by the other party's move. For a moment they did not attack. Instead they stood there in bewilderment. The people of the Immortal Palace heaved a sigh of relief. They cheered and sneered. Lin Xian was also stunned. He did not know that the Immortal Palace had such an ability. It seemed that the Immortal Palace was even more mysterious and powerful than he had imagined. He knew that although he was the palace master now, the Immortal Palace he had come into contact with was probably only the surface. The true core was probably still in the hands of the old palace master. As for the true strength and foundation of the immortal palace, he did not know how far it had reached. Perhaps other than Xia Jiuyo no one else knew. So, are we still going to fight? The corners of his mouth curled up as he asked indifferently. The dark red divine dragon sneered again and again. The three great sage, are you that awesome? Come and attack together. Let's hurt each other. With this great ability and so many powerful puppets, they definitely did not fear the three great sage. Therefore, the immortal palace's side was full of confidence. In particular, the dark red divine dragon pointed at these people and cursed. Others were embarrassed to curse, but he could not care less. Come, 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 the three great sages' grandsons, fight 300 rounds with this emperor. This emperor will definitely turn each and every one of you into golden roasted meat. That damned snake. You're courting death. Kill him. You must kill them. So what if they have great abilities? They're just high-level puppets. Do they really think they have immortal methods? That's right, how can puppets be compared to us? They were really provoked and went crazy. They attacked again. In an instant, the two sides fought. Boom, boom, boom. The three great sages' people rushed up. When Elderly saw this, he snorted coldly and formed a seal with his palm. Boom. In front, thousands of human-shaped puppets held weapons and roared. They were wearing bronze armor. Runes lit up and flickered incomparably. They turned into a green wave and surged forward. Bang, bang, bang. The attacks of thousands of top-notch puppets were incomparably powerful. They collided with the three great sages. Immediately, the sky collapsed and the earth cracked. Boundless energy swept in all directions. The surrounding warriors retreated one after another, not daring to be affected at all. Bang, bang, bang. The surging green wave was like a heavenly blade, slashing at the three great sages' people. Those young warriors vomited large mouthfuls of blood and were sent flying with miserable screams. There was nothing they could do. The elders could resist, but their strength was not enough. They were sent flying in an instant. Chapter 25-29. Many sacred land martial artists turned into blood and scattered in the void. The scene was very miserable. Damn it. Seeing this scene, the three great sage powerhouses roared crazily, "Use your trump cards." They used the Immortal Palace, Lightning Pool and Five Elements flag again, preparing to kill these top puppets. Elderly snorted coldly and formed a seal with his palm again. Thousands of top puppets roared. The runes on their bodies flickered quickly and circled continuously, forming a huge phantom in the sky. This phantom also had a human body and a snake tail. It held a desolate ancient artifact in its hand and emitted a desolate aura as if it had crossed time and space. Was this a half-demon? Many young disciples were puzzled. Those living fossils were trembling. Don't talk nonsense. This was a totem. It was said that countless years ago the ancestors of the human race had this form of a human body and a snake tail. This immortal palace was too terrifying and mysterious. I'm afraid they're even more terrifying than we imagined. What? Totem. The surrounding people were stunned. The eyes of the Yi family, Jade Lake Sacred Land, Dao Yi Sacred Land, and other great sage powerhouses flickered. The elders of the imperial dynasties also had solemn expressions. Murong Qingqing and Xin Jingqiu breathed a sigh of relief. Their expressions eased and they even smiled. The stronger immortal palace was, the safer Lin Xian would be. The more relieved they were. However, the elders behind them were completely stunned. Previously, they had planned to save the other party's life in a critical moment. But now, it seemed that there was no need to do so. The other party's foundation was beyond their imagination. In the sky, the huge totem emitted a desolate aura and quickly pressed down. It collided with the trump cards of the three great sage powerhouses. An even more intense explosion sounded as if the world was about to be destroyed. At this moment, all the surrounding sacred land martial artists activated their armor and defense to resist. They were like small boats swaying in the wind. Boom, boom, boom. Suddenly, in this violent energy, there was an even more terrifying murderous aura. 7 rays of light pierced through the entire space like pillars. They tore apart the storm that filled the sky. Damn it, what happened? Could it be that Immortal Palace used another trump card? The surrounding people were terrified. They all trembled and couldn't help but want to kneel down. This power was too strong. Even the Immortal Palace, the Lightning Pool, and the 5 Elements flags in the sky were trembling non-stop. How could this be? How could they possess such powerful strength? The faces of the people of the great sage changed. Could it be that it was the pressure of the sage again? They thought that Lin Xian had unraveled the saint's hand bone and produced this power. Immortal Palace's side was similarly shocked. This was because Lin Xian did not use the saint's hand bone. He looked around and found that other than Elder Li's bean soldiers, no one else had used any other terrifying trump cards. Then what was with this terrifying aura? Elder Li also noticed this point, and his expression was uncertain. Elder Li, don't do anything, Lin Xian said from the side. He had a feeling that there was something wrong with the tomb. Sure enough, Elder Li nodded and withdrew the huge totem in the sky. The 1,000 top-notch puppets quickly retreated and circled around them. It disappeared. The totem's aura disappeared. The eyes of the experts outside flickered. Whoosh! The light that filled the sky was pierced through. Finally, everyone could see the scene in front of them clearly. What was that? They were stupefied because they discovered that the trembling power that made them feel despair wasn't released by Immortal Palace. It was not released by the Great Sage either. It was something else. The Great Sage was also stunned. What exactly was that? Damn it, it wasn't Immortal Palace's people. In the space between them and Immortal Palace, 7 streaks of light appeared. To be more precise, they were 7 coffins. 7 bronze coffins appeared on the ground. They emitted a heavy aura. The 7 streaks of killing intent that connected heaven and earth were released by these 7 bronze coffins. As soon as they appeared, it was as if 7 demonic mountains were pressing down on everyone's hearts. It was so heavy that they couldn't breathe at all. Each of the 7 bronze coffins was incomparably huge, as if they had existed for countless years. Looking from the sky, they formed the shape of the Big Dipper. In fact, there were stars engraved on the 7 bronze coffins. The Big Dipper coffin. Everyone swallowed their saliva crazily. They were facing the bronze coffins that suddenly appeared as if they were facing a great enemy. Whose coffin was that? Who was buried inside? Why would it appear at this time? Could it be that they had encountered some kind of restriction when they were fighting earlier? Would it be dangerous for them after it appeared? They had no idea. Boom, boom, crack. While they were still in shock, one of the bronze coffins suddenly began to tremble. Damn it! What happened? Could it be that it was going to turn into a corpse? Everyone was terrified. No, they had to stop it. They were too terrified because the corpses and heads they had discovered so far were at least at the level of an invincible king. Moreover, the Yin soldiers from before had also left a huge shadow on them. Therefore, they did not allow the bronze coffin to revive. They did not allow the things inside to come out. In an instant, countless people unleashed formation after formation to seal the coffin. They flew down, wanting to completely seal the coffin. Boom. The people from the 5 Elements Palace were the closest, and they were the first to set up the 5 Elements seal. Bus, bus, bus. 5 mysterious runes floated down and enveloped the bronze coffin. Whoosh! Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Bang. Damn it. Not good. They cried out in alarm again because they discovered something. The 5 Elements seal. It was actually shattered in an instant. On the bronze coffin. A flickering star. It directly broke through the 5 Elements seal, and the bronze coffin trembled even more violently. Ice whirled. A delicate shout sounded and countless ice spread out. Immediately, the trembling bronze coffin was sealed in ice. Not only it, but the surrounding space was covered in snow, turning into a world of ice and snow. An elder from the Moon Palace made a move. However, everyone did not relax and continued to watch intently. Sure enough, in the next moment, the world of ice and snow that filled the sky quickly melted, turning into countless puddles of water that sank into the ground and disappeared. The bronze coffin was still trembling and it was getting more and more intense. Don't hesitate, hurry up and make a move, the Yi family elder said coldly. The people from the Wavering Light Sacred Land also shouted coldly. In an instant, everyone in the surroundings made a move. The light that filled the sky condensed, trying to seal the bronze coffin below. However, before they could make a move, the bronze coffin in front of them cracked open. Damn it! It opened. Everyone trembled and almost fell from the sky. They did not expect the coffin to open so suddenly. Chapter 25:30. Whoosh. When the bronze coffin was halfway open, a pale hand grabbed the edge. Then a figure sat up. Crack, crack. The purple figure walked out of the coffin and floated in the air. What's that? Everyone was stunned. They finally got a clear look at the figure. To be exact, it wasn't a human. It was very strange. It was very similar to the puppet from before. It had a human body, but its body was covered in scales. There was also a tail behind it that looked like a snake's tail. However, it had a different tail. The snake's tail was extremely smooth, but the tail was covered in poisonous thorns. As it swayed, it easily shattered the void. Monster beast. Everyone was shocked. They didn't expect that the thing that came out of the bronze coffin was not a human, but a monster beast. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. They had encountered all kinds of strange things before. They had even encountered the heads of 99 invincible kings. However, those people before were from the human race. They didn't look like monsters at all. But now, one of the coffins of the Big Dipper contained a demonic beast. What was going on? Were the other 6 demonic beasts as well? They didn't know. They couldn't even fight against one of them. That was because the monster with purple scales and a purple tail in front of them was floating in the air. 2 balls of white flames suddenly appeared in its eye sockets. Attack quickly. Boom, boom, boom. Countless powerhouses attacked, turning into a sky full of energy that slashed at the fist technique. In an instant, the purple figure was shrouded. Light erupted, sword chi and saber light flashed. The space in front of them exploded in an instant, turning into nothingness. That's great. Was it destroyed? Everyone heaved a sigh of relief. Although the other party had come out, it definitely couldn't withstand the attacks of so many people. Gulp, gulp. Suddenly, a purple light appeared in the sky. It was like a heavenly saber that cut open the sky. Boom. The energy was also cut open. A pair of purple hands destroyed everything. A purple silhouette walked out from within. Whoosh, whoosh. It wasn't injured. How was that possible? Damn it, was it still human? What level had this corpse reached? Everyone was stunned. The purple monster beast didn't receive any damage at all. What was even more frightening was that several purple mouths grew out of its body, quickly absorbing the surrounding energy as if it was enjoying delicious food. Oh no, it was going to attack. Boom. The purple palm covered the sky and the earth, slapping toward them. It was as if 100,000 mountains were pressing down on them. With a bang, many people were pushed back, and the violent energy in the sky was also torn apart. Damn it, it was so powerful. It seemed that its strength had exceeded that of a supreme. These people were terrified. They didn't expect the other party was too powerful. Furthermore, from the looks of it, the corpse that had been dead for tens of thousands of years had mutated and was now alive. Foolish humans, how dare you trespass into the tomb of the demon race's saint? All of you will die. A cold and ruthless voice, a voice. Ancient tomb of a demon saint? What? How was that? This is clearly the tomb of the human race's saint. All the martial artists from the Holy Lands and great sects were stunned. Lin Xian frowned as well. Because from all the previous signs, all the methods were of the human race. Whether it was those Tao patterns or the treasures, the 99 heads were all of the human race. That was obviously the ancient tomb of the human race's saint. But now, the Big Dipper coffin appeared, and the corpse inside was resurrected. It actually said that this was the ancient tomb of the monster race. Impossible. What was going on? Everyone was stunned. Moreover, more people were puzzled. How could the corpse be resurrected after tens of thousands of years? That was too abnormal. They didn't know the reason, but it was similar to the Yin soldiers. It wasn't a real resurrection. The one that came out of the bronze coffin was already so powerful. If the other 6 bronze coffins came out, wouldn't they be able to defeat everyone? No, they had to kill it quickly. And stop it. Why don't we run away? All kinds of discussions sounded. Many people's eyes flickered as they stared at the bronze coffin. They didn't know what was inside the bronze coffin. They felt that it was necessary to check it out. Behind them, the people of the Demon Emperor Palace were overjoyed. That was great. Finally, someone from the monster race appeared. Like I said, this is the ancient tomb of the monster race's saint. Those despicable humans didn't believe me. Now they know how powerful we are. What should we do now? Should we go up and meet up with the powerful corpse and kill these humans together? An expert voiced his opinion. However, Yen Ryu shook his head. Do you want to be the target of public criticism? Do you think you can exterminate all humans? If one of them goes out, all the holy lands and major sects in the world will attack the Demon Emperor Palace. Do you think the Demon Emperor Palace can survive? If the Saint Physique dies here, I'm afraid the Yi family outside will bring extreme weapons to attack. Hearing about extreme weapons, the experts of the Demon Emperor Palace trembled and a trace of fear appeared in their eyes. What should we do? Others asked. Huotindu's eyes flickered. If we can stay here and watch. Let them kill each other. These people of the Demon Emperor Palace didn't move forward. Instead, they retreated to a corner. At this moment, no one paid attention to them. After all the Holy Land warriors were staring at the purple figure in front of them as if they were facing a great enemy. At the front, those people were also discussing. Let's fight. We have to deal with this demonic beast. Otherwise, we won't be able to move forward. 5 Elements Palace, 9 Heavens Holy Land, and the 1,000 Thunder Saints people had gloomy expressions. They wanted to take revenge, but they didn't expect such a situation to occur. They gritted their teeth and stared at Lin Xian. Lin Xian snorted. What? You want to fight? I don't mind playing with you. As he spoke, the top-grade puppets around him flickered with mysterious runes and formed a powerful force that intimidated everyone. Damn it. Brat, just you wait. I won't let you off. The people of the Great Sage Holy Land gritted their teeth and didn't continue to attack. Compared to Lin Xian, the purple demonic beast in front of them was a greater threat. Lin Xian sneered. Elderly waved his hand and kept the top-grade puppets. These were trump cards and couldn't be used for too long. He would only use them in times of danger. Seeing this scene, the 4 Symbols Holy Land Yin Yang sect, Tuoba family, and others had gloomy expressions. Originally, they wanted to let the other party take the lead and use these puppets to kill the purple demonic beast. They wanted to exhaust Immortal Palace's trump cards. However, they didn't expect the people of Immortal Palace to be so decisive and put away their trump cards in an instant. A young expert from the Tuoba family didn't give up and snorted. Fellow cultivator, why put them away? These top-grade puppets don't have life and can't feel pain. Moreover, they are very strong. Chapter 25-31. As soon as these words came out, everyone turned their heads to look. The faces of the people of Immortal Palace changed. Lin Xian snorted coldly, flicked his finger, and a sword wave flew out, directly killing the young powerhouse who spoke. Damn it! What are you doing? The people of the Tuoba family roared crazily. They didn't expect that the other party would dare to attack them. Moreover, it was a fatal blow right from the start. They couldn't react at all. Give me a reason to protect you? Lin Xian asked coldly. Hearing this, everyone fell silent and didn't speak. That's right, when Immortal Palace was besieged and killed, they didn't go forward to help. Now they wanted the other party to protect them? How was that possible? Damn it. We are all humans. Now that we are facing the demon race, we naturally have to unite against a common enemy. The people of the Tuoba family wanted to use righteousness and reason to suppress the other party. After Lin Xian heard this, he sneered in disdain. Are you all humans? In my eyes, you are not humans. You are just a bunch of animals. What qualifications do you have to say that you are all humans? The people of the Tuoba family were so angry that they vomited blood. They were a dignified family of spirit seekers, dominating a region. When the various holy lands saw them, they had to be courteous. But now, someone actually scolded them in public. How could they endure this? They must kill them. This kid was too arrogant. Damn kid, kneel down and kowtow. Countless roars came. Lin Xian's body erupted with endless sword light. If you want to die, I can fulfill your wish. As soon as the sword light came out, it swept through the 9 heavens and 10 earths, causing everyone's scalp to go numb. Damn it. His strength had become stronger again. This sword chi was so terrifying. No wonder he could kill the 3 sons of the Great Sage. His strength was much stronger than before. Could it be that this kid had also broken through? Exclamations came one after another. At this moment, the Alcade Saint's eyes flickered. The Zhongzhou twin kings' faces were ferocious. Yu Wudao smiled. As expected of Brother Lin, he didn't let him down. No Flower also chanted Amit Ba with a smile on his face. Both he and Lin Xian had obtained a small bronze cauldron. Inside the small cauldron, he had obtained a great opportunity. Come to think of it, Lin Xian should be the same. Stupid humans, even now you're still killing each other. Go to hell. The Purple Monster King's cold voice resounded once more. His palms blotted out the sky and covered the earth, sweeping in all directions. From the looks of it, he should be a protector, protecting the peace of this ancient tomb and hunting down all outsiders. Dodge quickly. Seeing this attack, the Holy Land martial artists were so scared that their scalps went numb. They fled like crazy. The void cracked open and a huge black hole appeared. Boundless energy surged and swept out in all directions. Many people vomited blood and were sent flying. Boom. However, the experts from the various holy lands also made their moves. Leaf Dao Denier roared and golden light erupted from him, making him look like a golden sun. Then he thrust his hand out, unleashing a massive sealing mark. On the Alcade Saint's body, phantoms of gods and demons filled the sky. Above his head, a ball of holy light condensed and flew out quickly. Kill. The middle ground twin kings roared. Demonic chi and Buddhist light flickered. It was strange and terrifying. In addition, the other saints and saintesses all made their moves. Not only the young disciples but the experts, elders and living fossils also made their moves. Lin Xian circled around him. Under his control, the five-shaped sword chi also flew forward. Flying flower. Murong Qingqing waved her hand, and petals scattered in the sky, forming a huge light blade that slashed down from the sky. Purple chi from the east. Shen Jingxiu's face was cold, and her jade-like hands kept waving. Purple chi floated in the sky, carrying with it a supreme divine power. When these people attacked together, it was really terrifying. Nothing could resist. No matter how powerful the Purple Monster King was, he was still forced back. This is great. He was not an invincible existence. Seeing this scene, everyone was overjoyed and their confidence increased. If they joined forces, they might be able to kill him. The Purple Monster King was forced back and he was mad with anger. In his eyes, white flames flickered, and an incomparably mysterious power burst out from his body, sweeping in all directions. The attacks from the experts of the Great Sage were all sent flying or disappeared into the black hole. Quickly, form a formation. These elders and saints might be able to withstand such a violent attack, but those young warriors simply couldn't withstand it. Many of them were directly blasted to pieces. Therefore, the elders hurriedly asked the young disciples to form a powerful formation to resist. Sure enough, the foundations of the Great Sage were very terrifying. The young disciples combined into a formation, and the power of the formation was doubled. It could resist the energy attacks that filled the sky. Damn humans, you have angered me. I will definitely kill all of you. The Purple Monster King said coldly. His body expanded, and he turned into a peerless monster king like a purple mountain. The power of his body also suddenly erupted. Mysterious runes appeared on his body one after another, shining incomparably. Dao patterns. These were Dao patterns. Damn it. He had been refined. The elders of the Yi family, the Gu family, and the other clan of the ancients screamed. The pupils of the powerhouses of the various imperial dynasties also shrank. Not good. Retreat. They retreated crazily. However, it was still too late. A purple fist tore through the void. Terrifying energy rushed towards Lin Xian and the others. Lin Xian and the others felt a great sense of danger. The sky was filled with sword chi. He crazily activated the great dragon sword soul and erupted to the extreme. Lin Xian's defense was not the strongest, but his attack power was strong. He used offense as defense and destroyed all the energy that rushed over. He dodged the fatal attack, but the aftershock of the energy still knocked him back. His blood boiled. On the side of the Immortal Palace, the three elders had used their trump cards, so they were safe. The other saints and experts also displayed their trump cards one after another. The replica dragon pattern cauldron and the golden sword all flew out. On Murong Qingqing's side, a huge lotus flower wrapped around her. On Shen Jingxiu's side, countless purple clouds surrounded her, making her look like a fairy. Although these people also used their trump cards, they were all knocked back. Their attacks were also shattered. Although their lives were not in danger, many of them still vomited blood. The formation formed by the young disciples was torn into pieces in an instant. Many of them were directly blasted into a bloody mist by the punch. Damn it, how could he be so strong? Those who were still alive were extremely terrified. The elders' faces were gloomy. Lin Xian also frowned and asked, "Are you saying that the light flickering on the Monster King's body is Dao patterns? Could it be that he is a saint?" He was too shocked. Now he knew that Dao patterns could only be formed by saints. Those below the saint level could not form them at all. They could only observe. However, Dao patterns appeared on the Purple Monster King's body. And there was more than one. Chapter 2532. This was too terrifying. If this was really the corpse of a saint, then none of them would be able to stop it. It was better to think of a way to escape as soon as possible. No, it wasn't. Palace Master, this was not the corpse of a saint. The Dao patterns on his body were probably carved on by someone else. Carved on? Who had such great strength? Lin Xian was shocked. Suddenly his pupils constricted. You mean carved on by a saint? Why would a saint carve Tao patterns on this demon king? Was it just to protect it? That's right, it should be to protect it, Elderly said. With such a powerful corpse guarding it, even if an invincible king came, he probably wouldn't be able to steal the last thing. Could it be that there was some shocking treasure in the saint's ancient tomb? Xing Tian frowned. The dark red dragon's eyes lit up. Could it be the saint's inheritance? Hearing this, everyone's hearts beat wildly. The saint's inheritance. That was the essence of the saint's lifelong learning. Whoever could get it would be able to grow to the invincible king level. Or if they were lucky, they might become the next saint. This made everyone excited. This was much more precious than any natural treasure, spirit pill, or miraculous medicine. But soon he laughed bitterly. Even if there was really the saint's inheritance, so what? With the current situation, they couldn't resist at all. Moreover, this was only one of the bronze coffins. If all 6 of them came out together, no one would be able to resist them. Now, it was better to think about how to escape. Not only Lin Xian and the others guessed so, but the other sacred land martial artists were also discussing. They also guessed that there was a possibility that there was the saint's inheritance. The people of the Demon King Palace in the distance were even more excited. They were the most suitable to cultivate the demon saint's inheritance. After all, although they were half demons, the blood of the demon race flowed in their bodies. Some of them were even mutated species. The demon saint's tradition was very important to them. If they could get one, a living demon saint would appear in the Demon King Palace. In that case, the strength of the Demon King Palace would undergo an earth-shattering change. No, they had to get the last inheritance of this saint's ancient tomb. The people of the Demon King Palace clenched their fists. Wuxia was even more excited. They had to kill him. The great sage discussed for a while. He attacked again. The elders of the Yi family made their move. Leaf Dao Denier was even more powerful than Yang Qi, and as he did, a golden domain sprang up around him. Endless golden light enveloped the entire sky. The wavering light saint pushed the replica dragon pattern cauldron. The elders of the wavering light holy land behind him pushed together and poured all their energy into the dragon pattern cauldron. The imitation dragon pattern cauldron kept getting bigger and bigger, crushing the void. The 2 dragons on it seemed to have come alive. Earth-shattering energy poured down in torrents. The Grand Xia Empire. The prince of the Great Xia dynasty also wielded his golden sword. The sky was filled with golden swords and they slashed down from the sky. Taishin Holy Land. A young man stretched out his palm. In the center of his palm, there were 99 stars revolving around. It was extremely mysterious, as if it was a universe. At this moment, everyone was attacking madly. Furthermore, this time around, those people had all used their most powerful trump cards. Elder Wang, Elder Lu, please protect our disciples. The rest of you follow me and attack. Lin Xian instructed. He did not order everyone to attack. He held back because he was afraid that the people from the 5 Elements Palace would suddenly assassinate him. With the 2 elders guarding, the rest of the young disciples retreated to the back. Lin Xian, the dark red dragon, Xing Tian, Elderly, and Peacock attacked together. Damned human, go to hell. In front of them, the purple demon king roared. The 8 Dao runes on its body flashed rapidly. The 8 Dao runes flew out and shone brightly, forming a Dao diagram in the sky. It pressed down. The Dao diagram was extremely hazy, but it was like a millstone that could destroy the world. Everything that collided with it turned to dust. Nothing could stop it. Slash. The prince of the Great Xia dynasty roared. The golden sword slashed down on the Dao diagram, making a clanging sound. Then the golden sword was sent flying. On the imitation dragon pattern cauldron, the 2 dragons roared and turned into 2 dragon shadows that rushed over. They clashed with the Dao diagram. But soon they were also destroyed. Lin Xian's sword chi collided with it and was also sent flying. Not only that, nothing could stop it. Saber light, sword chi, spatial power, sea of fire, wind, fire, thunder, and lightning. In short, all kinds of energy were useless in front of the Dao. Bang, bang. Everyone was sent flying again. Many people vomited blood. Some of their bodies even cracked. A few unlucky elders were touched by the Dao diagram. Their bodies collapsed and could no longer reassemble. How terrifying. A trace of the Dao diagram's energy was enough to kill a peerless powerhouse. Everyone trembled in fear. Lin Xian also retreated. He frowned. The enemy was so strong. Why didn't these people retreat? On the side, Xing Tian explained, Young master, it's not that simple. The foundations of the various holy lands were very strong. It was likely that they had many trump cards in their hands that they had yet to use. Not to mention them, Immortal Palace also has many trump cards that we haven't used yet. We haven't used them yet. Lin Shen was surprised. Forget about their Immortal Palace for now, their Immortal Palace was perfectly preserved. Apart from them, the other weaker ones all withdrew from the battlefield. Therefore, there weren't any casualties for the time being. However, many of the geniuses of the other Holy Lands had been killed. Were those Holy Lands still not going to use all their trump cards? It had to be said that these Holy Lands could really endure. Just as they were discussing, suddenly, a green stream of light tore through the void in the distance. Everywhere it passed, the void shattered. Everyone looked up frantically. Damn it, what kind of power was this? They were all trembling uncontrollably. Even Shen Jingqiu, Murong Qingqing, Yi Wudao, and No Flower, who had top bloodlines, were shocked. Whoosh! An earth-shattering sound rang out. The bronze coffin that the purple fiend crawled out of was broken in half. What was going on? What happened? Everyone was shocked. Why did someone attack the bronze coffin? Could it be that they had found some clues? They were puzzled. The green light flashed in the sky and disappeared. The purple fiend king screamed. Damn it! His strength was weakening. The Tao patterns on his body were quickly dimming, as if they would disappear at any time. What was going on? Seeing this scene, everyone was shocked. Was the purple fiend king going to be killed just by breaking the coffin? Could it be that the coffin was the key? Everyone was stunned. Who was so powerful? Even the powerful array masters in their holy lands didn't notice this weakness. Chapter 25-33. Damn it, you're not human. Everyone followed his gaze, their hearts thumping wildly. Demon Imperial Palace. It's the people from Demon Imperial Palace. Oh my god, it's actually Demon Imperial Palace. Everyone came to a realization. The people from Demon Imperial Palace were half demons, and the blood of the demon race flowed in their bodies. No wonder they could find the other party's flaw. However, who was the one who attacked just now? What was that green light? Was it their trump card? These people didn't know. There was also one thing that they were very puzzled about. These people from Demon Imperial Palace said that this was the ancient tomb of a demon saint the moment they entered. At first they didn't believe it. Now they had doubts. Could it be that Demon Imperial Palace knew more than them? For a moment, everyone looked at Demon Imperial Palace with unfriendly expressions. After all, no matter how powerful the other party was, it was only a sacred ground. There were many sacred grounds here. If they joined forces, they might be able to take down the other party. Seeing the gazes of the sacred grounds, Huatiandu snorted coldly. A purple bead rushed out of his body, emitting a powerful demon chi. The demon chi emitted made the warriors of the sacred grounds frown. Of course, there were also saints who sneered. Wasn't it just a trump card? They had one too. However, soon, these saints were stunned and began to tremble uncontrollably. Beside Huatiandu, a beautiful woman walked out. A green light flickered on her body. As soon as the aura of the green light appeared, it seemed to carry a supreme pressure, making people want to kneel down and worship it. Damn it! What kind of aura was this? How could it be so powerful? The expressions of the elders of the sacred grounds also changed drastically, and their faces were filled with fear. Could it be a treasure of a saint? This aura was too terrifying. Moreover, they discovered that it was this green light that directly shattered the bronze coffin earlier. Boom boom boom. While the warriors of the sacred grounds were exclaiming, the purple demon king in front also roared angrily. The Tao patterns on his body finally disappeared completely. His body also slowly shrank and finally returned to normal. The white flames in his eye sockets disappeared. His entire body became a corpse again. That's great. It was broken. When the warriors of the sacred grounds saw this scene, they were pleasantly surprised. The people of Demon Imperial Palace also heaved a sigh of relief. They looked at Yen Ryu and were also extremely nervous. To be honest, not to mention those humans, even they didn't know what the cyan light in Yen Ryu's body was. Take the bronze coffin back. Yen Ryu ordered. Huatiandu also coldly shouted. The experts on the Demon King Palace's side all attacked. Not good. Stop them. Although the sacred ground still didn't know what was inside the coffin, they still didn't know. But when he saw the people from the Demon Imperial Palace make a move, those elders also roared in anger and attacked one after another. For a moment, all kinds of light flashed in the sky, fighting until the sky fell and the earth cracked. The bronze coffin below was once again shattered by this violent energy. The huge coffin was shattered into hundreds of pieces and fell apart. Whoosh! One of the experts from the Wen Dynasty god took a look and cried out in alarm. Dao pattern. There were Dao patterns carved on it. What? Dao pattern. Could it be that the Taoist pattern on the Taoist king's body came from the coffin? They had seen how terrifying the Dao pattern was. So now they were frantically attacking. For a moment, everyone was crazily snatching. Whoosh! Lin Xian stretched out his palm, and the azure dragon palm spiraled and whistled. He directly grabbed 3 pieces and dragged them back. Damn it, put them down. An expert from the Nangong family roared, but he was sent flying by Xing Tian's slap. On the other side, Yi Wudao was incomparably powerful and also obtained a few pieces. The Prince of Great Xia, No Flower, and the others also attacked. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also obtained a few pieces. In the sky, the pieces of the coffin became fewer and fewer, and everyone fought even more fiercely. At this moment, the sound of metal trembling sounded and instantly spread throughout the surroundings. These people trembled and almost fell from the sky. They stopped fighting and turned their heads to look down in bewilderment. Below, a bronze coffin was rapidly trembling. Not good. Something was going to come out again. Everyone was scared out of their wits. The one that came out previously already terrified them. It killed many of their disciples. If not for the mysterious woman from the Demon Imperial Palace, their losses would probably be even more serious. Hurry up and attack. Shatter that bronze coffin. They now guessed that the bronze coffin was the fatal weakness of these corpses. As long as it could be shattered, the corpses inside would not be able to revive. Kill. These sacred land experts attacked and quickly attacked the trembling bronze coffin below. Boom, boom, boom. After a series of attacks, they were dumbfounded. They discovered that the bronze coffin was intact, without a single crack. The people from the Demon Imperial Palace also frowned. Their attacks were also ineffective. Therefore they looked at Yen Ruyu. Yen Ruyu frowned, and the green light on her body bloomed again. She raised her jade-like hand and was about to attack. However, at this moment, a cold voice came from the bronze coffin below. If you attack again, don't blame me for being ruthless and killing you. Hearing this voice, Yen Ruyu frowned. She lowered her hand and did not attack again. Instead, she turned around and said, "Let's go." She directly flew forward. Huaqindu's eyes flickered as he gritted his teeth and roared, "Follow her." The people from the Demon Imperial Palace directly left. Although they did not know where the path ahead led to, they did not stay here. Previously, when they heard the cold voice, it was filled with killing intent and thick demonic qi. It was something that they could not resist. They knew that this was also a powerful demon king. It was even more terrifying than the demon king from before. The remaining sacred land warriors were shocked. They did not expect that a voice would come from the bronze coffin before it was opened. Moreover, it directly scared away the people from the Demon Imperial Palace. This phenomenon was even stranger than before. Could it be that the thing inside was even more terrifying? They gritted their teeth and attacked crazily again. Boom. The bronze coffin below trembled. A wave of power swept out like a heavenly blade, slashing in all directions. It collided with the energy. Reckless humans, all of you can go to hell. Not good. Retreat. It was too powerful. In the sky, the power caused the surrounding warriors to tremble. They retreated crazily. They quickly left. Exclamations sounded one after another. These sacred land elders and experts had made a decision. They let the saints leave with the young disciples. These elders and experts would stay here to fight. Go. Yi Wudao shouted coldly and quickly left. Chapter 25-34. Yi Wudao led the young disciples of the Yi family into the sky and flew into the distance. Wavering Light Sacred Land, Dao Yi Sacred Land, Moon Palace, and Taishan Sacred Land. The great sage lands and sects were all like this. Lin Xian was the same. Only Xing Tian remained by Lin Xian's side. The 3 elders remained behind. Brother Xian. Brother Lin Xian. Murong Qingqing and Shen Jingqiu also brought people over. They turned into a torrent and quickly rushed into the distance. Boom. As soon as they left, a world-shaking energy came from behind. The young cultivators who were leaving turned back. They saw a sky full of light that tore through heaven and earth. Even though they were so far away, they still felt a wave of fear and trembling. It was too terrifying. These elders had all used their trump cards. It was incomparably terrifying. Ignorant humans, since you want to die, I will fulfill your wish. An even colder voice sounded. A black shadow covered heaven and earth, devouring all the light. Immediately after, angry roars sounded. The black shadow continued to devour everything in front of it, and it seemed to be spreading in all directions. Seeing this scene, the young cultivators felt their scalps go numb. They fled as if they had gone mad. Hurry up and leave. Lin Xian also led the cultivators of Immortal Palace, Murong Qingqing and Xiu'er. They turned into streams of light and disappeared into the sky. They flew and flew for about half a day. Finally, a light screen appeared in front of them. It was incomparably hazy. The young cultivators who were fleeing all stopped. They looked at the light screen in front of them and frowned. They couldn't pass through it. They were blocked. Damn it. Angry roars rang out one after another. The young cultivators even used their trump cards and charged forward. However, they still couldn't open it. The light screen in front of them flickered with flowing light. There was clearly the power of Tao patterns on it. Perhaps even an invincible king couldn't open it. Damn it, there was no way. What should they do? Did they have to go back? Or wait here for the battle to end? Everyone was discussing. Many of them looked at Yi Wudao, Wavering Light Saint, and the others. They wanted to see what these top geniuses could do. Brother Lin, what do you think? Leaf Dao Denier didn't respond. Instead, he looked over at Lin Xian. A golden light appeared in Lin Xian's eyes and surrounded him. Although the hall was huge, it was enveloped by a light screen. There were Dao runes flickering on the light screen. Obviously, there was nowhere to run. He raised his head and looked at the sky. There was a ceiling high up in the sky. The ceiling was decorated with the sun, moon, and stars. It was like the universe. From the looks of it, it was an extremely terrifying formation. Thinking about it, it would be difficult to break it. The ground was also filled with veined patterns. However, Lin Xian frowned. This time, through his heavenly secret divine eyes, he discovered that there seemed to be a tunnel underground. Attack downwards. Lin Xian pointed down and said in a deep voice. Attack downwards? Everyone was stunned. What kind of joke was this? There were also formation runes below. That's right. Even if they could break through the ground, so what? Since there's no path below, why don't I just attack from above? Many people shook their heads, not believing that Lin Xian was right. However, no flower. Leaf Dao Denier nodded. Fine, we'll attack downwards. We'll help too. Shen Jingqiu and Murong Qingqing also stepped forward. At the same time, they called for the martial artists of their respective sects to attack together. Damn it. How could Leaf Dao Denier and the others trust that kid? The people of Tai Dynasty, Five Elements Palace, Yinyang sect, and Tuoba family gnashed their teeth. They didn't have a good relationship with Lin Xian, so naturally they didn't want to listen to Lin Xian. However, even Leaf Dao Denier and the others were attacking downwards. It was useless for them to resist. Let's see what's down there. The martial artists of Five Elements Palace, Nine Firmaments Divine Emperor, and Myriad Thunder Sacred Land snorted. They didn't attack because Lin Xian had killed their holy son. Why would they help him at this time? Leaf Dao Denier glanced at them and said coldly. If you don't want to fight, then scram. We don't raise trash here. These people were so angry that they vomited blood and trembled. However, there was nothing they could do. The other party was a holy physique. They couldn't beat him. They could only attack together with a dark face. These young disciples were all geniuses, and they had their holy sons and holy daughters to open the way. Damn it, he's too strong. We can't blast it open. These people were shocked. There were so many of them and they were so strong, but they couldn't blast it open. Lin Xian frowned. That's not right. The people of Demon Imperial Palace? Why aren't they here? He looked around and found that there were still many people from the sects who hadn't arrived. It seems that they went in a different direction from us. How about this? Let's lure all of them here and combine their strength to blast it open. Okay. Hearing this, Leaf Dao Denier raised his palm, and golden light burst out and swept in all directions. Sure enough, the martial artists in other directions saw this scene and turned their heads. That's the Yi family's holy physique. What happened? Is there a battle? No, it seems to be a signal. Let's go over and take a look. Someone exclaimed. The martial artists in other directions flew in the direction of the golden light. Soon more and more people gathered. Whoosh! The people of Northern Plains are here. The people of Southern Ridge are here too. The people of Demon Imperial Palace are here too. Everyone exclaimed. Sure enough, Hua Tiandu and Yen Ryu led the experts of Demon Imperial Palace and rushed over. Wuji Wuji in the sky, a squeak sounded, and then a beautiful figure descended from the sky. It's the holy daughter of Yao Guang. Everyone exclaimed as they stared at that beautiful face without blinking. The people of Yao Guang's sacred land heaved a sigh of relief. They didn't see the holy daughter before and thought that she had fallen. Now that they saw her, they were naturally relieved. Isn't that little white? Shen Jingqiu saw a snow-white monkey in the arms of the holy daughter of Yao Guang and immediately exclaimed. Murong Qingqing and Lin Xian also forgot about it. The dark red divine dragon was a while away. Damn, why is this little guy here? The holy daughter of Yao Guang walked forward, wanting to meet up with the holy son of Yao Guang. But at this time little white in her arms jumped away and returned to Lin Xian's shoulder, jumping excitedly. What? Everyone was stunned, including the holy daughter of Yao Guang. She turned her head to look at Lin Xian and exclaimed softly, "Little guy, come here." However, little white ignored her. The holy daughter of Yao Guang took out a few more spirit fruits, wanting to lure it over. The junior shook his head. The holy daughter of Yao Guang frowned, and the faces of those who followed her turned black. This guy wants to leave after eating his fill? How can there be such a good thing? Damn monkey, get over here. A martial artist roared, but the holy daughter of Yao Guang waved her hand to stop him. In the next moment she walked forward. Sir, can you transfer your little monkey to me? I like it very much. A good show is coming. Everyone was excited. Even the holy daughter of Yao Guang turned her head to look. Lin Xian shook his head and said, I think you are mistaken. Little white is not a pet, he is my partner. Between us, there is no such thing as a transfer of ownership. If he wants to follow you, he will naturally leave me. But now it seems that he prefers to stay with me. Chapter 25-35. Yao Guang Saintess's eyes lit up. Her face was gloomy. The disciples behind her roared. Damn it. This monkey had eaten so many of their treasures along the way. But now he ignored them? This made them vomit blood. They wanted to attack, but they were stopped by Yao Guang Saintess. Since that's the case, I won't take away your love. Yao Guang Saintess turned and left. That's it? Everyone was surprised. Those from 5 Elements Palace and 9 Heavens Holy Land gritted their teeth. They were still hoping that Yao Guang Saintess would fight with them. If that was the case, Yao Guang Saintess and Yao Guang Saintess would be able to kill each other. Of course, this was only their beautiful wish. Yao Guang Saintess wouldn't attack Lin Xian just because of a monkey. Ladies and gentlemen, I have called you all here for an important matter. Yi Wudao said in a deep voice. There were Dao runes in all directions. We can't leave. After Brother Lin's investigation, he found that there might be another world underground. So let's attack the ground together. What? There's a way out underground? The newcomers were discussing animatedly. The martial artists from Demon Imperial Palace also had their eyes lit up. Indeed, they had changed many directions, but they couldn't leave. They also thought of attacking the ceiling, but the array in the sky was even more terrifying. With their strength, they couldn't leave. No one tried to go to the ground. They didn't expect that the most important thing was still on the ground. This time, the number of people was twice as many as before. Everyone joined forces again and violent power poured out, bombarding wildly for 2 hours. Finally, a crack appeared on the ground. Great, a crack has appeared. Hurry up and attack. Yi Wudao roared, and the power in his body erupted. Imitation dragon pattern cauldron, golden sword, gods, Buddhas, terrifying saber light, terrifying sword chi, and dragon roars sounded. The crack on the ground became bigger and bigger. Dang. Lin Xian's ancient dragon abyss sword hit it, and the crack became bigger. Spiderweb-like cracks spread in all directions. The last attack was made by Yen Ruyu. Another green light appeared in her body and slashed down. As soon as the azure light appeared, everyone felt their scalps go numb. Even Lin Xian felt his blood churn within his body. The great dragon sword soul roared uncontrollably. Leaf Daodenier's blood surged and everyone looked on in shock. Buzz. The ground beneath their feet completely collapsed and a huge black hole appeared. Get down. Light blossomed from everyone's bodies. Battle armor appeared and they all walked down. What is this? After going down they frowned. Although they had left the vast hall, they found that they had not left the ancient tomb. Below him was still an ancient wall, exuding a desolate aura. Clearly he had experienced countless years. Let's go and take a look. Many martial artists from the Holy Lands were excited. They took the lead and rushed out. Although they didn't leave the ancient tomb, they had at least left that terrifying bronze coffin. Moreover, this place was so well hidden. Perhaps there were some heavenly treasures. Most importantly, they were concerned about the sage's legacy. Foolish human. Even if there is a sage's inheritance, it belongs to our demon emperor palace. You humans can't cultivate our demon saint's legacy. The people from the demon imperial palace sneered. The powerhouses from the Holy Land snorted. Whether or not it is the demon saint's legacy is uncertain. Just wait and see. The people from the demon imperial palace snorted. After walking for a while, the faces of the martial artists from the Holy Lands darkened, and they even frowned, because the passage below was completely different from the one outside. Although it had an ancient aura and the vicissitudes of time. However, the runes here were different from the ones above. After walking for about the time it takes for an incense stick to burn, they found that the surrounding walls were all carved with demonic beasts. Each of them had a green face and fangs, and they were strangely shaped and emitted a demonic aura. Damn it, what is this place? Could it be a demonic beast's nest? Why are there so many demonic beast carvings? Many people frowned. The people from the demon imperial palace were excited. These carvings were all demonic beasts of heaven and earth. Ah! As expected, this is our demon saint's tomb. Damn it, could it really be the demon saint's tomb? But what was going on with the situation up there? They were very puzzled. In front of them, another empty cave appeared. There were a total of 12 demonic pillars around it, supporting the entire cave. There were also strange beasts carved on them as if they would come to life at any time. Let's take a break. The attack just now left me with little strength. Many people complained and they all stopped here. This place was very spacious, enough for everyone to rest. Therefore the great sage lands all rested here. Those from the demon imperial palace were the most excited. They circled the 12 pillars and looked carefully. The dark red divine dragon also looked around as if looking for treasures. The powerhouses of the other holy lands, saints, and saintesses all heaved a sigh of relief. They had finally left the terrifying Big Dipper coffin. Now they could no longer feel the terrifying pressure brought by the Big Dipper coffin. Damn it, I really don't want to stay here any longer. There's no exit. I want to leave. Some people couldn't take it anymore. After all, they had never experienced such a dangerous thing. Especially the heads of the 99 invincible kings in the Big Dipper coffin. The shock they received was too deep. They were afraid that if they stayed any longer they would die here. Of course, there were also some who didn't care. Although this place was dangerous, there were many treasures and many of them had broken through. Under normal circumstances, they would probably need to cultivate for hundreds of years before they could break through. However, in just 1 or 2 months they directly broke through. How could they let go of such an opportunity? No matter how dangerous it was, they had to try. Cultivation was a path that defied the heavens. In front, a few powerhouses of the Gu family stood up. A middle-aged man formed a seal with his palm. 9 ancient runes appeared on his fingertips and imprinted in the void. The void was torn open, and a black hole was created that led to the void. What are the people of the Gu family trying to do? The surrounding people also turned their heads in puzzlement. Lin Xian and the others also narrowed their eyes. Soon they were shocked. That was because they discovered that a light image suddenly appeared in the void of the black hole. Why is the image so blurry? Light filling the sky. Where is this? Could this be the place where the battle took place? Sure enough, when they looked carefully, they found that the light image was indeed the scene of their elders fighting the Big Dipper coffin. What method is this? The Gu family is too powerful. Must be a spatial technique. Great, we can see the battle situation. These people were excited. However, after watching for a long time, their expressions did not look good. That was because their elders did not have the upper hand. They were very frightened. So many elders and powerhouses of the Holy Lands had used their trump cards, but they were still unable to suppress a dead body. Chapter 25:36. Needless to say, they were invincible kings. Not necessarily. The reason why the corpses were so powerful was because of the runes on their bodies. Those runes were so mysterious that even invincible kings couldn't control them. Only saints could. That was why the corpses were so powerful. Everyone raised their heads and looked at the screen in the sky. They were watching the battle. Unbeknownst to them, something was happening in another secret chamber not far away from them. This secret chamber was covered in dust. Evidently, it had been here for countless years. In the 4 corners of the secret chamber there were 8 statues. These statues were carved in strange shapes, in the shape of 8 demonic beasts. Each of them was fierce and lifelike. Those who didn't know better would think that they were real. But All of a sudden, the eyes of the 8 demonic beast statues glowed with a green light. Their eyeballs actually swiveled a little. Crack, 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 crack. Then the bodies of the statues began to shake. Dust fell from their bodies. The statues had come back to life. They could sense the pure bloodline of the monster race. They could sense the aura of humans. Trespassers of the ancient tomb die. Cold voices came from the 8 statues. If one looked closely, they would see that they were bats. After the dust fell from their bodies, they were blood red as if they were made of blood. If someone else was here, they would definitely cry out in shock. The 8 blood-red bats were very similar to the legendary creatures of heaven and earth, the blood-winged bat kings. They were also the protectors of this ancient tomb. They were refined by someone using unmatched magical power, and their corpses were planted with Tao patterns. Even if they were dead, they still had to protect the ancient tomb. Now that they sensed the aura of humans, they instantly woke up. Whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. The 8 blood-winged bat kings tore through the void and disappeared from the secret chamber. Outside in the cave, Lin Xin, Yi Wudao, and the others were all watching the screen in the sky. They were extremely nervous. The battle inside the screen was too intense. So many elders of the sacred land had brought along shocking treasures, but they were locked in a fierce battle with the bronze coffin. In the sky, countless runes emitted mysterious power. Damn it, who was buried in the bronze coffin? Why was it so powerful? This guy was much stronger than the purple beast king from before. This was only the 6th bronze coffin. He really didn't know what was in the first coffin. These young warriors were discussing animatedly. When they talked about the first bronze coffin, their bodies trembled. However, those holy sons did not think so. They had full confidence in their elders and their sacred grounds. They knew that their elder had many trump cards in his hands, and from the current situation, he hadn't used all of them yet. In other words, the current situation was not the most dangerous. As long as their elders used all their trump cards, it should not be a problem to eliminate the 6 bronze coffins. Suddenly, a blood-curdling scream echoed throughout the cave. Damn it, what happened? The others quickly turned their heads over, only to see a young disciple lying on the ground, twitching non-stop. His body deflated like a deflated balloon and turned into a human skin. The blood inside was completely gone. Damn it. The people from the Great Development Holy Land shouted furiously because the young disciple who had just died was from their Great Development Holy Land. The others were also shocked. They stood up, no longer looking at the light screen in the sky. Instead, they looked around. Their eyes were like lightning as they scanned the surroundings. Who was it? Come out. Another blood-curdling scream rang out. A warrior from the Taishan Holy Land fell to the ground and turned into a human skin. Damn it. Everyone be careful. The Taishan Holy Sun roared, and 99 stars surrounded his body, instantly covering the surroundings. However, Yi Wudao, the Alcade Holy Sun, No Flower, and the others all snorted and released their king domains. Lin Xian's sword chi burst out, Murong Qingqing's lotus danced, and Shen Jingxiu's purple aura surrounded her. They were all on high alert. Among them, Seiko Dian and the Taishan Holy Sun quickly checked the corpse that had turned into human skin. Soon they frowned. Their pupils constricted. This was because there were 4 marks on the corpse's neck. They were very thin, and it seemed that someone had bitten the neck and sucked the blood dry. When the others saw this scene, they all gasped. In the next moment, they all turned their heads and stared at the people from the Demon King Palace who were still searching for treasures. Damn you guys, how dare you make a move here? The people from the Demon King Palace felt a great pressure and stopped. They turned their heads and snorted. Stupid humans, how dare you frame us? We didn't do this at all. You want to fight? If you don't like it, then fight. These half-demons from the Demon King Palace had very bad tempers. Nonsense. Who else could it be other than you monsters? We humans don't have such an evil blood-sucking technique like the human chain. Damn it, I said it wasn't us. If you don't like it, then fight. Demonic chi erupted from the bodies of the powerhouses from the Demon King Palace and swept out. Yen Ryu also frowned and Hua Tiandu snorted, killing intent surfacing in his eyes. The 2 sides confronted each other and were about to fight. At this moment, countless runes suddenly lit up around them. Under their feet, in the sky, the same runes flickered. A terrifying force instantly enveloped them. Oh no, it's an array. Hurry up and leave. These people's expressions changed drastically. They turned into rays of light and dodged one after another. However, it was already too late. Many people crashed into the light screen and were bounced back. Damn it. They roared crazily. The entire cave was completely enveloped by a large array. They couldn't escape at all. Moreover, this array was very strange. As soon as it appeared, it emitted a monstrous blood aura that made one's soul tremble. Their blood was about to freeze. Oh no, we've been hit. The saints and saintesses' faces were gloomy. Lin Xian's eyes also flickered. They were indeed careless. This was the ancient tomb of a saint, and it was definitely extremely dangerous. They actually didn't take precautions before. Now that they were trapped by the array, it would probably be very difficult to escape. Damn it, they didn't expect to be trapped in an array just after escaping danger. They didn't know if this was a killing array? Those young martial artists were trembling. The people from the Demon King Palace also shouted coldly. Did you see that? Damn humans. I've said it before, we didn't do it. Qindu and Yen Ryu didn't speak. They looked around, their eyes flickering. Ryu, did you notice? The aura of this array is so familiar. Indeed, looking at the runes and the way it was set up, it seemed to be a demon race array. This was indeed the ancient tomb of a demon saint. A demon race array. You're tuning in to the Han Li's Wuxia Adventures YouTube channel. We're so grateful for your support, and don't forget to subscribe to join us on this incredible journey through captivating stories. Your generosity through donations truly makes a world of difference, as it's the primary source of revenue that allows me to expand and enhance this channel for you. Thank you from the bottom of my heart for being a part of this adventure.